Okay, hopefully that should now be working. What about now? Can you hear me now? Like those old commercials. Flow to the sea. Sounds cool. Can hear you now. Excellent. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's my buddy got me these awesome Bluetooth headphones, but then I forget that I need to actually plug in the mic, which is, yeah, just figuring things out still. Figuring things out. That is a lush voice. Thank you, McShane. You pig. You pig. Hello, Jung Sung Lee. Welcome to the stream. Hello, one and all. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Had to delay the stream today. Had an Enkai last night. I have an awesome Kocho sensei at my school. Guy's a legend, just an incredible person, and he's retiring this year. So we were out for drinks and all that jazz. Oh yeah, that's a nice depth of field you're getting right there. Clear right to the end. You pig. But I kept it in check. It was not blackout last night. Last night was around, like, we'll say, I think I had like 6 beers. Yeah, 6 beers. That's all. Totally reasonable. Yeah, didn't molest anybody. 6 beers. And yeah, when I got back here, I had like a couple of shots of spiced rum. So I kept it in check. I didn't let the demon out of the box, which is good. Going to Japan is an ALT this March. Hope this reminds you of a few years back. Oh, yes. It does. It does. I arrived, I was a little bit late though. I arrived to Japan in April, but it was exciting. Went into Tokyo. Man, how goddamn exciting. I mean, of course, anything that you do that is that new is going to have that, like, intensity to it. But yeah, I remember being in Tokyo and just looking out my window, and it was pretty close to one of the major parks that was there. And just thinking everything was so different, which it was. And, like, even the smell, like, the whole smell, I was like, this is a very different smell to this place. I mean, I've since obviously gotten used to it around almost 5 years later. As of April, it'll be 5 years, which is a testament to how much better my Japanese should be at this point. But yeah, looking out that window and then going out and grabbing, like, whatchamacallit, these buns. I was like, I'll just get something to eat, grab some buns, that'll be cool. And when I got back, they had that, like, anko, that red bean paste in them. And I was like, yeah, it was just totally foreign. I was like, what the hell is this? Never seen anko in my life before. Have you been haunted by demons yet? Only the existential ones, as far as I know. Lots of existential demons, especially as you get over 30 years old. But none that I haven't beat yet. None that I'm not still doing battle with. Thermal Horizon. Let's see what else we got here. Ocean Lanes. Soft House, laid back. That seems good. Yeah. Haunted by demons is no fun. Glad to say I haven't had to contend with that. Oh, yeah, well, I got haunted by one of them. I finally, after living here for like 3.5 years, I like answered the door at the wrong time, and I was like, ah, shitty fucking NHK. I should really plug it in because it would be great practice for my listening. Oh, the Winter Witch. Yeah, I thought actually in making that video, I thought it would actually be funny if I didn't show the witch, and I was thinking of doing like an ending where it was me back at my place and I was talking about kind of the weird feeling of being up there, and how I didn't see anything, but then in the shot here back at my house having like something in the background that was the witch. I was like, that would be a cool way to finish that off. But I went a different direction because I figured out how to put the witch actually in. Do you still run your gaming channel? I remember you mentioned one in your older videos. Tando, I do not run the gaming channel anymore because it's just too it's too much. It's too much. There just comes a point where trying to balance all the different things that you're doing. I'm trying to be fit, so I'm going to the gym. I'm trying to learn the language, so I'm studying the language. I'm trying to work on high quality content for my channel, and eventually you got to make a call for like something that can't quite fit into your life. It's and that's what it came down to, because to make those, it's actually quite a time sink even playing the games, so I just didn't have the time to play the games. Calcedon asks, what are some good entry-level jobs for N1 level Gaijin? Man, if you're N1, I don't even think you have to go for, like, entry-level. I think you could probably do better than entry-level. Like, I think an awesome one for N1 that I'm aware of, and I'm sure there's tons of jobs that I don't even know about for N1, would be, like, somebody who was an international coordinator at a university. Which, how cool would that be? That's a good gig, right? So you would basically orchestrate the meeting and like assignment of new international students into a Japanese university. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn that light off behind me. It does weird things to the camera. And we're back. Let's see. So, more questions. Have you been to any music concerts in Japan yet? If so, how was it? No. The closest thing I got to that was like this French music thing that I was going to make a video of, but then when I went there, everybody was pretentious dicks, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not gonna listen to this shit. So I took off, and then I made an entirely different video. And that was that. But I'd love to go. That's one thing I'm like, yeah. If I found some like-minded people, I think checking out some music festivals and some concerts would be really cool. What is Matando? Oh yeah, you understand. Yeah, it's so time-consuming. I mean, in a good way, if that's what you're passionate about, and you can balance the your life with being able to create content for gaming. It's tons of fun. Let's see. Mario says, I have heard that other English teachers have created or tried to create their own English school business. Is that something that is possible or reasonable? Yeah, absolutely it is, Mario. Mario. I don't want to say lots of people start schools, because speaking from my particular viewpoint, I know like only a couple people who have done schools. But I think actually in the relative scheme of things that starting English schools in Japan it's quite common. There's actually quite a few of them. I know that it would be, as you'd expect, a real grind to begin with as you develop the number of students that you have. So, well, any business is going to be challenging, going to be a lot of work. So, yeah, there's like a slow return on investment unless you have some sort of insane success story to begin with. But having said that, yeah, you can totally do it. Jung Sung Lee asks, have you been following the Olympics? If so, Team Canada or Team Japan? The only Olympics that I've seen, Jung, are when I go to the gym, and then after I'm done the gym in the sauna, there's a TV there, and they're always playing Olympic stuff right now. So I've caught the odd Olympic event, but I haven't really been watching it that much. So short answer is no, not really. Not really. It's weird how that stuff sneaks up on you. It's kind of like, oh, it's the Olympics again. And, you know, it's only every 4 years or whatever, so it should be more momentous for me to see that. But I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Too busy with other stuff. It's like, yeah, you got to do your Olympics. I got to work on this shit. I can't be thinking of you. But like, I mean, last week to get that Winter Witch video done in time, I was up till, I worked on it from Sunday to Saturday, and I finished work at Saturday at 8:30 in the morning. Not a lot of time for watching TV. What do we got? Hey, Dave, this is William Greenwald. Been a while since on your streams. A friend of mine just got stationed in Sasebo. Do you know any good places to visit near there? I've actually never even heard of Sasebo. So that's... I'd Google that. Maybe I'll Google that now. We can check it out. Starting an English school be a visa loophole since you don't need a university degree to start a business, just 5 million yen, but you do for anything else? Yeah, Matando, that could be a conceivable loophole. Although, I mean, I don't really see it as necessarily being a loophole because you've saved up the money to start your business, right? So it's like, hey, if they've stated it right there, those are the rules. I mean, I think in this day and age, in this economy, it's a lot of people don't necessarily have 5 million yen to be able to start their own business. So it's a barrier to entry, and if you've saved up for it, all the power to you. Let's see. I would also like to know if you think it's possible for a foreigner to change career fields from English teaching with N1 Japanese. Yeah, I mean, I already mentioned one now, right? That person is still in a school that's an international coordinator, but they don't teach any English anymore. They have nothing to do with that. Not at all. You can work in Board of Educations, you can work in companies, you can, like, there's so many different things you could do with N1. Yeah, N1 is baller. Hello, Dan, from snow-covered Vancouver. Oh, yeah, I do miss the Vancouver. I'll be returning, of course, this summer. That'll be awesome. Away from the horrible humidity. Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Dave, says Vargas. Cheat days when dieting, yes or no? Sips wine on cheat day. Yeah, I think that cheat days are reasonable. It's all about keeping yourself in check, though. Like, cheat days can become like the cheat apocalypse. Like, where you're like, I'm just going to have a little cheat day. And as opposed to having, like, a couple, you know, refeed meals where you just indulge a little bit, it turns into, what is this? Nashville Sunset. Now that makes sense. It turns into just Catholic shame where you've pounded down, like, 30 donuts and, you know, nothing feels right in the world anymore. So, yeah. Have your cheat days, but don't lose your damn mind. I've lost my damn mind recently a couple times. I don't know if it's the winter cold or whatever, but I haven't been destroyed. I'm staying relatively on top of things, but yeah, it's I've been having probably in an excess the amount of cheat days. Nope, this isn't gonna work. The creepy store. Creepy and cool somehow at the same time. Hey, V. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying, I'd assume. I haven't seen your Instagram in a bit, but I'd assume you're still in Japan. It's like you've gone on this incredible, wild tour all over the place. It really looked like you were enjoying your trip, so that's awesome. Let's see. Where is V now? 3 days ago. Hey, P, what's up? Okay. 75% of Japan. That's what it looked like. I was pretty blown away. This girl is traveling all over the place. I couldn't believe how extensive the journey was. That's good. That's really good. You got to make use of your time on a trip like that. Just cool. Thanks very much, Dan. I appreciate that. It's my pleasure to put them out and to entertain. I hope they're entertaining. I hope they're informative. Whatever people are getting. Hola, Kimmy Kim Kim. Good to see you in the stream. Thanks for dropping by. This is chill. It's really cool recently. I mean, obviously, it's a measuring cup that I would use for my my breakfast. Well, measuring food basically when I'm really on top of what it is that I'm eating. I need one of these because I like to track all my calories in my MyFitnessPal. So, yeah, this was closest to the tap right now. Is like, this holds water, so this will work well. Today is my last Saturday in Japan. I'm pretty sure I will come back. That's good. That's good. You got bitten by the bug. You've had a taste of the experience, and if it was good enough, I'm sure you'll have to come back. What's up, Gajan? What's up, Krista? What prefecture am I in? I am in Ibaraki Prefecture. Ibaraki Prefecture. Ooh, nice shallow depth of field on that one. That one as well. Maybe I missed something because I've been watching things out of order, but where are you teaching now, Dave? I teach for a board of education. I teach for a board of education, and where it started with them at a junior high school because they felt like the people who were in the elementary schools weren't pulling their weight, that they wanted to move people with a little more experience into the elementary school. So I'm in an elementary school now, and I've been there for a year. I've been in the elementary school for a year, and that was, I mean, it's the, this will sound kind of funny, but it's the first time in Japan that I've really had to, like, teach, right? Because when you're in junior high school, you're just totally an assistant. You tasukaru dake desu. Yeah. That's all you're doing, is only helping. So when I went into this, it was a big change. But in the end, I actually like it more. I can't believe I'm saying that. But you end up with less classes, but of course you're leading and designing all the classes. So it's like as soon as you get good at your job in an elementary school, it actually can be even more chill, yet somehow more fulfilling because you contribute more when you're into the classes. So for the state, nobody project. Yeah, essentially, I mean, the state, the government, I work for the government here in Japan as I work for the public school system. That's right. Yes, that's right, Isaac. I say I've been. I say been. It's the sort of, it's like the Canadian as well as the European way. I believe it's in America, they say bin, which, if you look at the actual pronunciation of E and E beside each other, you could argue that the Canadian/UK version is kind of what makes sense. But language is funny like that, right? Pronunciation is a funny thing. I also say sorry, and I hear that Americans say sorry. And I was like, okay, that's kind of trippy. Has Tsukiji Fish Market closed for good? I'm not totally sure, actually. They've been in such a long, drawn-out process where it was supposed to close, and it just never seemed to happen. So I'm not sure about that one. I don't know if they've finally moved along from there. Yes, yes, it pays far, far, far better than Interact to work for the Board of Education directly, because there's no middleman, which essentially, like, there is a value that you have when you work as a teacher, and Interact takes, like, some massive portion of that. So yeah, it is much better financially. Your Winter Witch video is great, though I shouldn't have watched it while it was snowing, says Temporary Sanity. Yay, thank you. Really appreciate you saying that. I loved making it. It was so cool. As soon as I got back from the trip, I was like, you know, that was really, really freaky. Like, actually, when I thought of going through the forest, I was joking about it when I was doing that. But then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool? I'll do this kind of like in a found footage sort of horror movie style. And so that led to all the, like, the creepy voiceovers and glitch effects. And I thought, like, the particular color grading that I was doing kind of lent itself to the kind of creepy, sterile, austere nature of the whole countryside. Tons of fun. Tons of fun making that. Hello, Danica. Hello, Danica. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for dropping by. Cabal says, hey, Dave, I'm waiting results on the Jet interview and hoping to come over soon. I'm wondering, is there anything I shouldn't think of besides shoes, clothing, coming over as a 6'3" person? I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. So basically, shoes is the big one. Shoes is the one where if your feet are any kind of size when you come over here, finding them is going to be hell, because it's like, what's that story? Gulliver's Travels, when he goes to Lilliput, and it's the land of the little people, so you ain't going to find shoes. Do you still play Destiny? I do not play Destiny since Destiny 2. After I got, like, a lot of entertainment out of playing, like, initial hours, I just couldn't believe how quickly it died. And that they so quickly released new pay-for content where I was like, no way, I'm not doing this dance. So what I figured I'd do, because I think they got the funds, they're not going to let that die. As soon as they release like 3 more expansions, I'll just buy like the 3rd expansion that they do where they package it all together, and they finally figured their shit out. We got some sort of like Christmas theme going on. Joyful Stories, that's what this is. Okay. Let's head back to these pictures. Hey Dave, why did you get rid of the G35? Why did I get rid of the Skyline 350 GT? I got rid of it because it's absorbently expensive to drive a car like that in Japan. Easy to buy. It's like it cost half price compared to what you would pay in Canada, but in terms of like maintaining that vehicle to run, not in maintenance, but in things like they have an engine tax here, and so every year you were getting hit with, like, I was paying $500 a year just for the, like, you're driving a car with this size engine. This size engine, and then you have the Shaken. When you do the Shaken, was like crazy expensive because of how big it was, and then it also, that car being the car that it was, it uses high octane, high occ gas, and high occ gas is really expensive. And I thought, I'm trying to run a YouTube channel as a starving teacher, and I'm driving around in this fancy car. So why don't I sell this car for something way more reasonable as far as my finances go? And, like, say, for example, this trip that I went out to Hananuki Valley to do this Blair Witch kind of thing. That trip that I took out there, the gas that it cost me in the car that I have now, I think it was like $40. And if I'd been driving the 350 GT, it would have been like $200, and that's just gas. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, let's see. Vargas, what's the BOE pay range? Just the range, no need to be specific. I would say the lowest you'll ever be paid at a BOE is 280,000 yen, and kind of the upwards is somewhere around 400,000 yen. And not only is that, you got to think that there's all these things that people don't realize or don't calculate when they look at this flat rate is that many of these companies, say Interact, that tell you that they're going to pay you something like 250,000 yen a month. That's how much you're paid. Bullshit. Because if they took into account how many months they prorate your pay, which is something like a third of them or a quarter of them, then you would subtract from that 250,000 yen a month that they quote to you, because you're not getting paid that every single month of your contract. You're getting paid much in reduction of that, much reduced from there. Whereas the BOE is whatever salary they pay you, they're going to pay you the whole time. Not only that, all public holidays, when you work for the BOE, you get all those public holidays off, and they're all paid holidays. Not only that, but whereas Interact and these other companies don't usually, I would say 90% of the time, contribute to your healthcare or to your pension, which are big bills, the BOE will always contribute, I believe it's 50% to the cost of whatever it is that you're paying. So like if you add in all these things to your salary and then compare them against the other range that's available, you really start to see it come out of the woodwork, just how like, whoa, you're getting paid way more to work for a BOE. With the subsidization of everything, with the consistency of your pay, with your paid days off that you get, things like that. Yes, Nick, go and watch The Winter Witch. That was some of the most pathetic viewership I've had in quite some time, and one of the projects I worked hardest on. Not bitter, just the way it is. So every view helps. Okay, Mel says, "Go Dave." Thank you, Mel. You go, Mel. How tall are you, Dave? I'm like 6'1.5". I'm 186 centimeters. Pina Colada says, "What do you play on PS4 now, and when are you leaving Japan for good?" That's an interesting contrast of questions. Oh, this is almost over. I'm gonna fill up my vase of water. I'll be right back. Okay. So, let's see. Is this really what you would call go undercover? I don't know about that. I'm gonna put on genres, electronica. I want some, oh, it's a cold hard world, some soft house to chill with. Okay. PS4 now. I played for like 4 days. I played Fortnite, which was kind of cool. But then I haven't really played any games aside from that. Again, the time thing. I'd really like to play Horizon Zero Dawn, because I saw that game coming, where I was like, I know this game's going to be awesome, and nobody was paying it any attention. And then, bam, everybody's like, this game is amazing. I was like, no shit. Of course it's amazing. When are you leaving Japan for good? That I can tell in the foreseeable future, never. Although I think if things were to develop in the way that I would like them to, excuse me. If things are to develop in the way that I'd want them to, then I would say that I would travel more frequently from Japan back to Canada or other places in the world. I would still be spending the majority of time in Canada, but I would be traveling more. That's kind of that's the goal. Jose, Dave, I have an employment offer to Interact, but still no placement. Should I get worried? I know many are going to JP already. I didn't know my placement until I was in Japan when I came over to work for Interact, and it didn't bother me at all. And even when they offer you a placement to begin with, you don't necessarily have to take it. Like, when I got my first placement, I was like, okay, I'll take it. But you could turn it down. It's not a big deal. It's a pan flute song. That cool, tropical. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. Yo, What Up Ian asks, how are the ladies treating you? They're treating me well. Thank you, What Up Ian. Love the ladies. May have a few spicy dates in the next while here. We'll see how it all goes. I'd be happy with 280k yen. 280k yen isn't too bad. It's like, it's just so clearly better than the prorated 250 that you get from Interact. That's fine for a first year, but like I'll say, time eternal, that Interact is to be used to get into the country. That's what you use it for, and it's awesome for that, and it's totally got a use, and they set up everything for you, and it's super practical in that sense. But then when you're talking about being in the country for any period longer than that, you really, if I knew what I knew now, I would have gotten out way sooner, as opposed to like go through this getting a raise from them battle where they were like, just because it's you, Dave, and you do such great work, we're gonna give you a raise. And then and then they offered me a 5,000 yen a month raise. I was like, oh, you guys, what? I appreciate your sense of humor, but I hope this is a joke. Okay. They said my COE would be dependent on my placement. Certificate of eligibility. That should only be about just like where you... I don't know how that could... That sounds to me like them just spooning shit. Like I don't know what they're talking about. Like your certificate of eligibility is connected to you getting a work visa, but like provided you can show that you are going to work somewhere for that company, that's all they need. It wouldn't be that your certificate of eligibility would change depending on where you worked. It's just that you need to have work. So, I mean, yeah. Interact does a ton of shiesty shit. Okay, hello, how much is gas there? Of course it fluctuates, Crown. Of course it fluctuates, but I would say that it was about, what was it when I went by recently? It was about 135 yen for like regular right now. And then, I mean, it gets expensive for Hayok. No, Takahashi. Hey, Dave, love your show. What are the chances of anyone starting a small English school on their own in Japan? Really, really good. If you got the money saved up, there is no shortage. There's no short demand for people who need to learn English here. It's that challenge like you'd expect, because you're going to have to grind to get those initial students. It's going to be really hard, and most businesses fail within the first 5 years, so on and so forth. But you can totally do it. Businesses are becoming successful every single day, and so you can absolutely do it. Absolutely. Oh, hey there, Fix Fireflank. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Okay. Where the hell? Okay, I lost my messages. What do you know about saving for retirement / investing for expats living in Japan over the long term? Do most people send money home or set up accounts over there? What? That's an awesome question. I have to think about that for a sec. So, saving for retirement, it depends on the size of your family. If you have a family, I think that's a massive factor that you have to consider for saving for things like that. If you're in a position like I am, if you didn't live the YouTube lifestyle that I did, where I'm constantly spending money on upgrading camera gear and going on trips to try and create interesting videos, you'd probably save money really damn fast. Actually, real damn fast. You could save for retirement, and it'd be fine. But depending on the size of your family, I mean, you'd want to at least be making, if you had a family, you'd want to be making somewhere around 320,000 yen per month with subsidization to your healthcare and whatnot, to be like, if you're going to support, raise your kid okay. But then if you're more ambitious and you did start something like a school, or sky is no limit, there's a million things that you could do. You could do very well. I don't know about people sending money home. Should probably be asleep. You can't go to sleep. You got to hang out in this here stream, Fix Fire. No sleeping. Hello, Zane. You're looking good as well. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been hitting the gym. I gotta hit the gym today and tomorrow though. Finish off this week's cycle. It's been a tough week, actually. Oh, what? I didn't even see this in the top. I'll go back to these questions, but I want to pull out Chalcedon. Do a little clap. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the donation. I really, really appreciate that. Again, I've been so busy, I haven't set up, I mean, the Streamlabs, I've got like my list of things to do, which is Streamlabs, and I still haven't set up Streamlabs. But anyways, thank you so much. That's going in the cookie jar. I've got a cool new video planned. It's going to take a few weeks to produce it, but all that donations will go towards being able to do that more affordably. So thank you so much, Chalcedon. Okay, now back up to the questions. Got it for 20 bucks, you bastard, P. That sucks. I can't get it for that right now. The questions. Let's get back here. Okay, almost back. Almost. Cabal. Oh, wow, didn't notice it got low views, though it was an awesome video. Yeah, but this is, you don't bitch about this sort of thing, you make another great video. It's like, yeah, you roll with it. Can't stand, like, actual bitching about views like that. The people didn't want it. The people didn't want it. The people have spoken, you know? So, and I learned a lot from that video. I'll go on a little tangent here, because it's my live stream, where one of the things that I learned in that was a new technique in After Effects for the Adobe Creative Suite, which is so cool, and we'll do some, like, I used it, the scene in the video, I'll pull it up here, actually, let's, I'll show you guys the exact scene that I'm talking about, which was totally, totally new for me. Never, ever, ever done this technique before. So Winter Witch. And we'll go to, let's see, where are we at? This! Oh, bam! Chose it right here. Actually, I'll show the pan over so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, boom, here we go. So we head into the woods. It starts to pan over. And you can see the witch right there. Bam. Actually, I'll do it full screen because I know that might be difficult. So it pans over, the witch is placed, and there she is on the trail. Boom. And then I also did the fancy little glitch effect for her. So, regularly when you put any sort of image into a frame, what's going to happen, of course, is that image is going to pan across because it's not affixed into the environment that you're watching, right? Like when I write, "This is awesome," "This is awesome" is going to sit middle of the screen and just pan across everything that you see. But in After Effects, what you can do is you take this scene and you get the program to analyze the scene, and any static points in the scene that it can find which are clear enough, you can then attach to an item. So it's like this is how you would see in another case where if somebody's flying over the ocean, that they would like put a piece of text attached to the ocean where it looks like as you fly over top of it that the text is sitting in the ocean and not moving. And so that's going to be a huge, huge, huge thing for me to understand now since making this project. So there was a lot here that I looked at, like that you learn from your trials and errors. Like you're always accumulating knowledge. So that was really, really good in this video. I like that technique can do so many cool things, and yeah, this was like my first time understanding that. I also thought the scene was fucking awesome because it was like classic horror. You're like, what's this? You only get this short shot of the witch, and then she kind of glitches. Yeah, just like really, really, really so much fun working on this video. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Isaac. Okay, let's move down. Hey, Shereel, new sub here. Been enjoying your vids. Right on. Question for you. How has living in Japan changed your life, outlook, habits, nitpicks, etc.? I would say what Japan has most done for me is it's afforded me, not only has it given me the best, like the best job that I've had in terms of what I've been paid before, but because I now have that job and I kind of have that base level stability since I live in Japan, I'm then in this place where I have all these unique ways to challenge myself, which are incredibly fulfilling. And in that way, where animals look for food, humans look for meaning. That's the big difference, I think, which separates a sentient mind and sort of an autopilot animal. And I can find so much fulfillment and meaning in a place like Japan because there's the language, the fact that there's so much of that I've not yet seen, the way that it so constantly challenges you. Where I could challenge myself back in Canada, it's not that there wasn't a shortage of that, but it wasn't quite as unique because, of course, I speak the language, and I could never get a job that was good enough that I could kind of have that base aspect of my life taken care of to then focus on the other methods, whatever mediums of growth that I think are essential for humans to be happy. It was always this, like, do or die, where am I going to find the next job that can kind of support me and doesn't quite support me enough? And I was always, yeah, well, your only concern is, like, getting your base level resources for existence. You can't focus on the bigger things that bring us fulfillment. And in Japan, I absolutely find that. So I mean, in a word, fulfillment. I'm able to search out fulfillment in ways that I couldn't when I was back in Canada. Not that I don't miss it there. I mean, oh man, like a lot of people I think who come to Japan, they come here and the situation is that they didn't have so many friends or family that they left behind that they really cared about, so the transition is much easier. They come here and it's just fun because it's like it's all new and there was nothing left behind. But like I've left behind some wonderful people, like really, really wonderful people. I have great relationships with all my family, so I really do miss it, and it's always especially special when I get to go back and visit there. I received the area BOE location first week of February and finally received my visa. Congrats, P. Well done. Nice, kicking ass in Monster Hunter. Enjoy that early day off. As well you should. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn looks pretty awesome. Can't believe you got it for 20 bucks. Ha! Dave, I know you like curvy ladies. Is it tough finding those types in Japan? Vargas, I like all ladies. I like all ladies. I like curvy, though. I really do. No, I mean, there's tons of curvy ladies in Japan. You can find curvy ladies. What is it? Pochari? That's like the Japanese word for like chubby. But I mean, we're not talking chubby, are we? We're talking curvy. But I love slim. I love slim women. Slim women are wonderful. They're really great too. But you'll find all kinds. Although there is a predisposition here to slimmer women, especially in the Japanese, because they still value a healthy body shape. They don't think that it's like body positive to be fat. Right? I think that's a load of shit. Where I'm like, you can be fat and not hate yourself, but at least objectively understand that that's probably not so healthy for you, which I think we've lost touch of in the West because we've had this like pendulum swing back to like beauty at whatever cost. But in the fat direction, it used to be beauty at whatever cost where it was really unhealthy, like bulimic, anemic, you know, like these horrible like skinny people. I don't know if anemic works for that. Yeah, it was like too much that, so we're like, no, we're all going to get fat and we're going to be proud of it. Now people are way too fat and way too proud of it. This is an interesting direction for the stream. Mel, Dave, overall, have you loved Japan? I absolutely have. I don't think the right word would be constantly, but I am frequently hit with moments of great appreciation and profundity at just how awesome it is an opportunity to live here and do what I do. I'm very, very grateful for my life as much as I'm ambitious to transcend the state that I'm in. Very, very appreciative of it. I'm working on my master's to apply to JET in autumn 2019. Well, if you got a master's, you're in really, really good shape. Pina colada. I've been having escapism of going to Tokyo, Japan. Please tell Japan is hell and the work life is bad and people keep to themselves, so I no longer have urges to go to Japan. Help me, Dave. That's you made me laugh. That's good. Oh, that's good. Japan's multifaceted. I'm not going to shit on Japan. I'm not going to say that it's horrendous, but I mean, it's no walk in the park either. Obviously, like, the things that are so often like the strengths of Japan are also the things that can be most frustrating. For example, the language, where it's like, you'll never have a cooler thing that you could do in your life than to try, like, you could never be more accomplished than to overcome something like learning a language. But at the same time, my God, is that a steep mountain to climb. So you're just going to have to call that one pina colada. You must make your own decision. No worries, no, my pleasure. Mr. Mascot, would it be possible to meet you if I was traveling through Japan in your neck of the woods? Yeah, if people are in Tokyo area and I happen to be in Tokyo, then of course I'd meet up with people. Absolutely. Would it be yeah, okay. Dave, were you disciplined before, or did you before feel you've become more disciplined since you've arrived? I've noticed a change going through your library, but I'm wondering what you think. I think naturally the no-brainer there is to say that, and I've advocated this before, I think that discipline is like any other, like if you compare it, you draw a direct parallel to going to the gym and developing whatever muscle group. Muscles grow as a result of constant practice and going in and testing them and pushing their limits, and they develop. And I've said that the same is true of our awareness. I think that awareness is developed through practice, and so absolutely, I think as time has gone on here, I've learned to have better discipline for myself. Not that I don't fall off the horse constantly, but a part of discipline is accepting those failures and not obsessing over them. You fail, yes, you fail, but then you get back on the horse, and life is good. So yeah, I'd say that I was disciplined before. I mean, one of the things I used to do in high school is I used to do varsity rowing, and varsity rowing is, in terms of discipline, I was like 2 times a day. Once in the morning at 5:30, you get up to row. You're on the water before 6 o'clock. Then you do your whole school day, and then when your school day finishes, you go out and you row again, and you do that 5 days a week, or 6 days, sorry, my school was 6 days a week, and then on Sundays you go to regattas. And so I was doing 7 days a week sometimes with my athletic stuff that I did. We went to Canadian Nationals. I went on to Worlds for high school Worlds. So I did have discipline. It was in my life, but at that point when you're in high school, yes, I willingly set myself up to do those things, but at the same time, it's sort of given to you. It's a directed path where, yes, you made the choice. You're like, nobody made you go on the rowing team, but it's directed. And so I think where I've grown in discipline following that is that when you go out into the great big world of working, nobody tells you anything anymore. And so all discipline needs to be derived from yourself, and that's definitely something that I've developed as time has gone on. Bill, hello, Bill. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. The Winter Witch might not get a larger viewer count because all the YouTube algorithms or the audience does not contend with the content. Oh, yeah, and that's a thing, Bill. I just don't even think about it. I'm like, for like you just said, there's a million reasons that it could be not reaching a larger audience. It could be 1 in a million. And so I just don't even think about it. I'm like, fuck it, who cares? This one didn't do so well, on to the next one. Da-da. And like I said, I mean, if you learn something from that project, you lost nothing. You lost absolutely nothing, and I did. I mean, that technique I was talking about in After Effects, that's invaluable. That's going to show up in more videos that I do. Chump Diggity. Hey, Dave. When you were in Interact, around how much yen a day do you say you lived on during the period your pay was prorated? So, basically, if I lived like a monk, you can actually save money, and especially in that first and second year, because you're not really taxed because you have no monetary history in the country, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, and especially because all the early YouTube I ever did was like in my whatchamacallit. All the early YouTube was just in my house, so I never really spent money on it. And I used this webcam that I'm recording on now. All my videos were made with this webcam. I didn't have a mic. The amount of money that I have put into the YouTube, using the definite article, at this point is atrocious. And yeah, so I saved quite good money for those first 2 years. But then, as creative needs rose and taxes punches you in the face repeatedly, there was no money to be saved, and I had to go on a very, very intense look around for a job. Yeah, the stream's shaping up pretty good, Ramsey. I may leave this one as an actual one to leave on the channel. Most of them I just delete afterwards, but we'll see. Dave, if you had to watch either Ryan Boundless or Canada Gin videos for life, which would you choose and why? That is a sick and twisted question, Spot. I'll have to think about that one. Yeah, to say nothing of who Ryan Boundless and whatever her name is are as people outside of their YouTube personas, their channels are pure poison. They're just poison. Like, I don't know what happened to Ryan. I don't know what happened, but that kind of bitterness, it's pathetic. And then Canada Gin, the sort of like vitriol and psychosis that she spews out on her channel is insane. It's just insane. And I have no problem saying that anyone with half a brain should be able to identify that. So I don't know that I would ever find myself having to choose between the two of them. But that's removed from the people. I think everybody, to a greater or lesser degree, has some kind of persona that is presented, and so you got to be careful. You can't just like, I'd want to meet her in person or meet them in person, and then I judge them as the person, not as their YouTube channel. Although you're fooling yourself if there's not some amount of pre-coloring that's going to occur because of those channels and what they create. What is your Japanese study method and why? My Japanese study method currently is not enough, and I'm lazy. I need to get refocused. I don't know what it is. But I'm doing a lot of reading right now, reading and writing. I'm doing a lot of reading and writing to really try and develop the aspect of my, well, everything comes when you do reading and writing, and it's sort of in that intuitive way. I use a lot of different methods. I use Anki for sort of virtual flashcard studying. I use this book to read. I use this thing called Remembering the Kanji to study kanji. So many different things. Hey Dave, is there a Japanese real estate website that shows current house for sale? Do you own your own house or apartment that you're in now? No, I do not own this apartment. It was pretty sweet though, because I moved into it. I moved into it when it was brand new, so I am the only person who has lived in this house, which is awesome. And the building is brand new, so like the electricity all works reliably. Some of the old Japanese buildings, like, you have too many things on and it's way too easy to blow the breaker, and so you're like resetting your electricity. I don't know any houses, no, not houses. I don't know any websites for real estate sale in Japan, but I'm sure they exist, of course. Funny you should say that, Red King. I actually tried Fortnite recently, and it was really, really cool. But I think you need, like friends to play it with, which I didn't really have. I had one friend, but then he kind of screwed off. So, Mel, Dave, you're a hot daddy. Thank you, Mel. You're a hot potentially girl. We're not sure here. This is the internet. Chump Diggity. How are the women in Ibaraki? There's cute ones. There's cute ones in Ibaraki, and I think it all depends on where you go. But I wouldn't be really looking around Ibaraki for the ladies, except for some places. Like if you went into Mito, Mito's got some nice girls. Got some nice girls there. But that's the thing where, like, a lot of my experience with women in Ibaraki, I don't have, because when I'm in Ibaraki, I'm working on YouTube. Whereas, so that kind of colors my opinion of it, where maybe that's not fair to the women of Ibaraki, because maybe if I was going out to do more, like, strictly socially speaking kind of stuff, I would find more attractive women here. But for me, it's all about, it's about the Tokyo. Okay. What's good, Dave? Hello, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Many things are good right now. Specifically this stream. This stream has been really good. Enjoying the good flow of the questions today. By the way, what is the difference in living in the city, suburb, and boonies as a non-Japanese? I think even whether you are Japanese or aren't Japanese, there's that song as old as time that when you're out in the countryside, because people don't have like other people like this in their face all day, that there's a kind of, there's a friendliness. There's definitely a friendliness to the countryside, which is really, really cool. That in the city, because people are forced to coexist with so many other people all the time, that there's a certain distance that people put each other at when they live in the city, which is only natural. But at the same time, of course, then there's all the amenities and things that you can do in the city, and your gym isn't like 30 minutes away from you, and there's a million reasons why the city is awesome. I would, again, in the foreseeable future, as my life would evolve here in Japan, I would like to be closer to a city. So that's something I'll be looking at doing in the not too distant future for me. For me, that's what makes sense. But I think living in the countryside is cool. It's like, I think you should do it at least once when you're living in Japan. You experience that Inaka life. Yeah, I do not want a Japanese job. I have no interest in that. It's almost like, I mean, jobs to me, as much as I'd take pride in my job, I'd still try and do it well. I wouldn't be some lazy fuck. Jobs to me are a means to an end until you can put yourself in a position where you can support yourself either from a business or a business which is your creativity, which, I mean, that's what YouTube is to me. I would love... That turned out really well. All these shots are taken with the new ultra-wide angle lens. That's why you get that great foreground distortion. Boom. Looks so cool. Anywho, where was I? I got sidetracked by lenses. Yeah, if I'm going to continue to work or aspire to like greater heights of work, then it'll definitely be to have an own business, or like I will never give up on YouTube and improving myself and having that breakthrough that puts me over 100K and allows me to support myself purely through what I do creatively. And I'm not even saying like in some sort of grandiose, like I'm pulling in like 10K a month or something from what I do creatively. I mean, like, if I can just pay my rent and support my food and my going out to make YouTube stuff, if I can make a couple of grand a month, I would move to that, as opposed to kind of have the two things at once. I would do it all creatively, or a business, like I say. But I mean, it's really, really exciting. I don't celebrate too many milestones on YouTube as I've gone along, because I think that, yeah, we should celebrate, but you're always at a great risk of over-celebration when you're on YouTube. People are like, yeah, my first 50 subs. Actually, maybe it makes more sense when you're smaller to celebrate those smaller, what are they called? Road miles? Milestones. Maybe it makes sense at that point to celebrate more of those milestones, but I don't do it because it's like, stop worrying about these stupid little milestones and get on to making like better content that'll grow you to get you to the bigger milestones. But we're coming up here pretty fast on, the channel's going to reach 25,000 subs. And to my mind, that's a quarter of the way that you need to go, even though it's taken me 5 years to get there. A quarter of the way that you need to go to be like considered, I think, a truly successful channel. I think a channel, provided you make good content that gets good, decent views at 100K, you're floating at that point. Lots of channels at 100K that get garbage views because they make garbage content. But if you've been grinding hard up to 100K, always improving, I think at that point you'll probably see a range of views that allows you to be self-sustaining at that point. Okay, yeah, I like this. This is a little funky, loungy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's definitely nobody project there. I have a self-discipline channel. You have a good, solid understanding. Forgiving yourself is important. Yeah, you've got to like. I mean, it's this constant wheel that you're on through discipline, which is that you got to give yourself a break, but then equally as much you can't give yourself excuses. So, but it's a balance. There's no law. There is no set law for discipline. You're always with every situation figuring out what to do. Dylan. Hey, Dave, Japan was super fun. I found a good few clubs and pubs to go visit. Thanks for the suggestion. But why is everything so sweet there food-wise? I like my food salty, so it was a real change. Huh, interesting you say that, Dylan. I found, like... Well, it depends on the foods that you have. There's a lot of foods in Japan that end up being sweet that you don't expect, and I think that's what messes with people. Like some sort of, like, starchy-looking thing that you expect to be kind of, like, savory like a potato, but then you eat it and it's kind of sweet. But... mostly the Japanese, they'd go on and on about how the West or UK or Africa, I don't know, that they've got food that's way, way too sweet. So that's actually a contrarian viewpoint that you've taken right there. If you want salty, just go out for like yakiniku or my personal favorite yakitori. You'll get like plenty of salty stuff. Or go to my favorite garbage restaurant. It's almost, I know that I would kill how much I like this restaurant if I lived in Tokyo. Is Torikizoku for like, it's not even cheap now. When I think about it, it's like, I spend a lot of money when I go there, but for just amazing, yakitori. I say amazing, it's like a huge chain or whatever, but it tastes delicious to me. Okay, I'm gonna, again, fill up my vase. My throat's parched. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Fixed fire flank. Good night, Dave. I've been slacking off from a Nihongo studies and too much. I need to get up to catch up. To hope to catch up. You a better time. That sounds great, Fixed fire. Thanks for dropping by the stream. Catch you later. I believe... yeah, Ryan Boundless went to Thailand for a while. That was on his channel. And then maybe he came back to Japan. I don't know. I try and stay away from there. Hey, Dave. Hey, Graham. I landed a job with Peppy Kids Club in Jotsu City, Niigata. Have you been there? No. Nope. I've never been to Niigata. Although, I mean, that's like, I hear that. I'm like, yeah, I know Niigata. But all the best to you, sir. That's a great leaping off point there. That's cool. Are futons more comfortable than typical Western beds? I think that in certain situations, yeah. Yeah, they're really, really nice. There's something about the firmness of futon, which is really, really good for your back. Like when I visited my buddy Drew in Kyoto, we were sleeping on futons there, and I had some real deep ass sleeps when I was there. So they're good. Hey, Guy Manley, welcome to the stream. Thank you for dropping by. It's my day's going well. I had an Enkai last night, but I didn't lose my head at the feast, and I got home relatively early speaking, didn't go to bed too late, and so I actually thought I missed the stream this morning because I was like a little bit hungover, and so I was like, I don't care, I'm just gonna sleep, and for some, I had this like clock in my mind that was at like 12:30. And then when I woke up, it was only 9:30. So I was like, hey, I can still do it. And I'm over my hangover. When do you see yourself leaving Japan? In the foreseeable future, I don't. Meh. I don't see myself leaving in the foreseeable future. Maybe being here a little bit less, spreading my time between different places. But, yeah. Okay. Isaac says, are there any old videos on your channel that you look back on and think, what was I thinking, and cringe a little when watching it? I'd always tried to, even when I was making stuff that was only on this camera, I always tried to make things that I was proud of. And so I feel like mostly what I would ever like just look back on in terms of cringe was mostly production value. I would look at stuff and be like, "Oh my god, this looks like garbage. It has no mic. It's recorded on a webcam. It looks horrible." But nothing that I was like, "Why did I say that? What were you thinking? Like, you idiot. How could you have that viewpoint? You child, you immature child." No. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. There's maybe like there's one that I did which was a joke. It was a joke one where I was like going with this like a couple of posters from my school that I was like making fun of, poking fun at, and the humor was pretty garbage. So I was like, yeah, that one's kind of cringy. That's kind of shitty. But I mean, even that one, I was like, good effort, man. Put yourself out there. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So you're good. Hello there, noble guy. You pig. You filthy animal. Nice shots, by the way. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's go for a couple more shots. We'll do this angle this way. What would be your visa situation if you quit your job as a teacher? Well, essentially, TKG zone. Yes, I can have music in the stream, Bill. It's on right now. Maybe people can't even hear it. Maybe it's too low. You know what? I bet it's too low. Okay, let's turn that up a bit. Although, I mean, this is just like totally like lounge chilling in the background, not really worrying about it. Sorry, the visa thing for TKG though. The visa thing. So the visa situation is that if you've been awarded your work visa and you were to quit a job, your visa has an expiration point on it. So until that visa expires, doesn't matter that you don't have your job. What matters is the numbers that are on that work visa. So if you say quit 3 months into your contract, but your visa is still good for another 9 months because it's a year-long visa, then you're in great shape. Simple as that. You basically look for another job that works with the work visa that you have, and you get a new job, and then hopefully they can help you get a new visa when the time rolls around again. How often are you writing stuff, expanding the Stoneheart universe anytime soon? Anything else in the works? That's a great question, Novo Guy, and something I've been thinking about recently. I've been talking to this author, just a cool girl, and I've just been reflecting on that in the way that what I got to do is I'm going to set a deadline. Sorry, I got distracted by another question there. So what I'm going to do, because I'm like, no, this is so essential. Like, I almost equate, like, writing is to the mind what going to the gym is to the body. And it's amazing. Like, your brain is lit up. You are woke after you have done writing. And so, besides all the mental benefits of it, I love writing stories. And so, I'm going to get back into the writing. Absolutely. And the way that I'm going to do that for myself is to say, in terms of priorities, that it doesn't matter, because I'll always have excuses, that come this deadline, I'm going to start writing. And it doesn't matter to what extent that I'm doing it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get back into writing. And it's going to be to focus on the initial project that I started before I started writing Stoneheart, called The Minder. And it's going to be a lot of rework, because I learned so much writing whatever the hell, Stoneheart. So it's going to be a major rework, because there's so much that I need to approve and reorganize and kind of flesh out the world that it's in, and so on and so forth. But I'll be returning to it. Mark my words, by the end of 2018, if not at that point, I will have another book. I will be arriving very, very shortly to the conclusion of one. And I have thought about that, expanding Stoneheart. I really like that idea. I feel like I learned so much. It'd be one of those rare instances where I feel like I could write a better expansion on the universe than the initial one. Cabal Society, you are supposed to hear the music right now. So if you guys still don't hear the music, let me know and I can turn it up a bit so it can be chilling on music. Is there a need for engineers in Japan? Yeah, there's a need for engineers in Japan. Need for engineers everywhere. Engineers are like one of the few people who it's like, you need an engineer? Yep, always going to need an engineer. What are your thoughts on freelancing in Japan? Just depends on Phantom. Just depends on what kind of freelancing you're talking about. Like freelance teaching, sure. Freelance architecture, I don't know. Yeah, I love Yakitori too. Project. Mayo Suzumoto. My dream is to move to Japan. Any good way to study kanji? I would say the way to study kanji is it should be twofold. There's like that you should layer the traditional method with a non-traditional method. And the non-traditional method is, you can find it on Kaniwani, and you can find it on also Remembering the Kanji, Book 1. That's the name that I recommend. Because essentially what it does is it turns, this matters less for someone who's an Eastern student, somebody who's from Singapore or somebody who's from China. But what it does, this adding this alternative method as opposed to the traditional method, is that what you learn to do is you become like an Eastern student. So that means that you know how to write and identify the basic symbols of the kanji. So when you look at a kanji, you can see all the radicals and parts and whatever primitives, whatever you want to designate the different parts of a kanji as, and you know how to write it. And then once you know how to write it, then downloading the other information into your skull, the other half of it, which is all these different pronunciations and vocabulary, becomes less of a task. Where when a Western student comes to the study of kanji, they're learning everything at once. They're learning how to write it, they're learning how to read it, they're learning the multiple meanings of it, and it's overwhelming. It's not a good way to have any kind of retention. And so combining these two methods, I believe, is really the key. And everybody I know who's had greater success, greater than passing success, is one of these people, I'm lost. Are one of these people who've learned to write them, and then with that knowledge been able to retain the different readings of them. I think Asians are getting fat. I think, relatively speaking, Winterline, you'd probably be right. I think as our lives are more automated and things are increasingly taken care of for us, that naturally you'd see that. And so more and more people kind of have to willfully keep themselves in better shape, as opposed to kind of expecting just by virtue of whatever they're doing in their day-to-day to do it for them. Mike says, what if you get married and your Japanese wife says, put a stop to this YouTube business? Will you give up, or are you thinking of getting married to a Japanese? I would consider marrying a Japanese woman, but the moment that somebody said, quit doing YouTube, I'd say, kick rocks, bitch, get the fuck out. That would be a non-negotiable for me. Like, obviously, it's like, stop being creative, stop following what you're passionate about. Wow, you're a horrible person to be with. Who would ever say that to someone? Like, yeah, no. I think you can easily be with someone who would support it. You can make it like a really, really healthy part of your relationship. I mean, I'd found YouTube is actually a really awesome thing in relationships, because it gives you a reason to like go out and do something, where I'm like way more willing to go on adventures and stuff as a result of doing YouTube, because I'm always wanting to make a video about something where it gives me such a reason to go out the door. I think I'd be less predisposed to it if I wasn't doing YouTube. So I think it helps a relationship. Torikazoku is the best. It is the best. It's the best. Kashua Daisuke says, Dave, how much can you bench? The inevitable gym question. Let's see. I don't know my single rep bench. I've never done that because I want to go in and I want to work on development. I've never been curious about that, strangely enough. But right now, I'm benching about 85. I do 85 kilograms, and I can do 3 sets of 5. So there you go. That's my bench right now. I was actually lowering it, though. I'd lowered it down to 80 kilograms because as you approach those higher levels, it's easier for your technique, your form to go to shit. And I was like, no, I don't want to, like, in my desperation to reach a higher level on my bench, I didn't want my form to go to shit. So I'm dropping the weight down, maybe even doing less reps at this point because I'm such a fascist when it comes to getting my form right. But I want to keep the form good so you get this nice, you know, everybody's somewhat imbalanced in their muscle development, but I am, as a result of rowing, like I was talking about, I'm quite imbalanced, so I have to be really careful of that stuff before I'm like, no, fuck it, let's just throw on as many weights as we can, what can I do? I have to be very conscientious of that. Still can't hear the music. That's worrying. Yeah, people tell me if you can hear the music. Still can't hear anything. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, there it's turned up like... I feel like you guys should be able to hear it now. Let's see, playback devices. It's saying to my headphones. I wonder if it's like... I hope it's not just to my headphones. I feel like you guys should be getting... If you don't hear it now, something's up. No game, no life anime. I just watched the movie. Oh my god, did mess with my feels. I haven't seen that yet, Flint. Maybe I should check that out. So this next one, you guys tell me. Tell me if you can hear it in this next one. Ah, Filthy Frank. Yeah, I've seen a few Filthy Franks. He did... It's crazy the videos you see in the past that have gone viral where you're like... It's not that it's not funny. I mean, they're funny, but you're like, the sort of bar now for a viral video seems to be... Well, naturally, it's much higher. It's just things have come and gone. My Japanese teacher had someone come into class and briefly discuss his history with Japanese in Japan. He mentioned Ohio Sensei. Do you know anything about the site? Would you recommend it? I know Ohio Sensei is a resource that I quite frequently recommend to people who would like to find a job. It's a great resource for finding a job. Yep, meditation. I wouldn't argue against that. Learning a kind of mindfulness. You are not your emotions, that kind of thing. Music is totally silent. At this point, the music should not be silent. Configure show disabled. Okay, now you guys should tell me. I've set this as the default device, and so I feel like you guys will probably hear the music now, but I don't hear the music, which will mean that I have to like plug my headphones in to this right here. But I could do that. I can grab my headphones. It'll probably be too loud now. Tell me what's going on, guys. I'll check that out before I answer the Okay, so I gotta use my different headphones. Man, wham, 1 sec. Okay, I'll be right back. These are still really good headphones. It's just I love the wirelessness of the Bluetooth. Okay, a little down. Yeah, I thought that would be a little loud. We're gonna go there. There we go. There we go. Too loud, too loud. I thought so. That should be better now. You guys tell me if that's still too loud. Okay. As soon as this starts. Buck Wild Tunes and Deeds. Epidemic Sound is absolutely awesome. It's been so good having it. Okay. So I gotta go back up the list for the questions here. If I've got 5 years experience teaching and a pretty decent grip on Japanese, says Ryan, how good of a chance will I have to get into the JET program? JET program, if you got like the requirements to get in, it's then just a total roll of the dice. You're just rolling dice because some people get in and some people don't, and there's a really, really high demand for it, and people with master's degrees get rejected from it, which is silly. It's just silly that somebody with a master's degree wouldn't get into JET, and so you can see how it's kind of, like I say, rolling the dice. So you'll be fine, is in so much as you have met the requirements. Now it's up to the fates to decide whether you'll actually get the job. Was there a time when a woman you were dating did not like your YouTube? No. The only woman that I ever dated here in Japan really, really liked my YouTube. She was very much a part of it. With my help, started her own channel, in fact. I don't think it's a volume issue. Okay, 0. Okay, no, this is... I fixed that now. It was to my headphones. I am a Mexican-American interested in going to Japan, teaching English. Any knowledge on how Japan, be it companies or people, treat Mexicans or Hispanics in general, or is the American label first? You know what, Hector? I think you do just fine. Honestly, I think you do just fine. There's a natural predisposition that the Japanese associate English speakers with. They look and they're like, that person is white, that person speaks English. But that's like, I think that's just human nature. I don't see that as being like a particular prejudice or anything. It's just a thing. It's not meant harmfully, and it's so easily overcomable. Like, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of teachers here who are from all over the world and have all different tones of skin and get good jobs better than mine, and they're totally fine. So you should get along, no problem. Can you live in Japan without having a job and live off YouTube? How would your visa situation be? So what you would do, Mike, is you would register YouTube as a business. Basically, that's it. You like, you would show them, like, you would obviously have to have however many dollars saved to apply for. It's called a manager visa, which is essentially a corporate visa. I've looked into this because I've looked into starting a business in Japan, like what would go into this process. And once you get the manager visa, your YouTube channel, you've kind of like incorporated yourself as like whatever DaveTrippin incorporated in Japan. And voila, you are a business in Japan as a YouTuber. So it works. Slitherus, the time has arrived for my Japan trip to begin. I arrive in Narita on March 1st, staying 90 days. Any advice? See as many things as you possibly can, Slitherus. Tour all around Tokyo. Get on that Yamanote line. Do all the main stops. Starting in March. I mean, definitely my #1 recommend to anyone. I've got like a couple places in Japan that are like, you have to go to these places. Would be Naka-Meguro Canal. That time in spring, with the cherry blossoms along that canal, it's the closest. Actually, 2 times I've had like surreal experiences in Japan. One is at that canal, just like when the lights go down and the lanterns light up, are lit, when the lanterns get lit. It's incredible with all the yatai stall food, and oh, it's something special. Okay, let's see. Hello, Jason. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Frank, where would you say your current proficiency in Japanese is at the moment? Sorry if you get asked this question a lot. No, that's fine. It's like obvious. Well, okay, here's my level. If you want some like obvious range of it, I failed the N4 by 1 mark. So I'm basically an N4 level speaker of Japanese, kind of, except for that 1 goddamn mark. Will that business visa also work for freelance artists, or must it be one source of income? That's getting to a complexity where I'm not totally sure, Zena Killa. I wouldn't want to say, because I don't know really specifically at that point what the story is. Will that business visa work for freelance artists? You need to get a sponsor for that corporate visa, though, right? No. If you got the cash If you got the cash to do it, you can say, hey, I want to do this. And it costs you about $2,000 to incorporate yourself. But yeah, once you do, then you are a business. I mean, somebody who's actually spoke about that was Simon and Martina on their channel, because they're the mega overlords of like YouTube Japan kind of right now. And they said that actually registering YouTube as a business here in Japan was far easier than it was for them when they were in Korea. Playing any video games, Destiny 2 kind of went to shit. I am not playing any video games right now, much as I'd like to. I mean, I'd love an excuse to go down that video game rabbit hole and just get lost in some awesome gaming, but I have not done so. I have not done so recently. Thomas, I'm thinking this stream has been quite good, so yes, there is the potential that this stream could actually be one that I keep as opposed to one that I take down, because I do usually take down most of them. Absolutely. Let's get back to these pictures. Where do I... There's one shot I've not put on my Instagram. This guy. How cool is this guy? He's at the base of the mountain that you would then go hiking up. And I think he looks so awesome. And of course, I got my f-stop to like open as much as possible here to like f1.4 to get that beautiful bokeh in the background. That beautiful bokeh porn looks so awesome. I just wouldn't stop with this one. At one point, I think I tried to do... How many? That one's, I think, going through all these different shots. I think that's the one. Zinkella, will that business visa also work for freelance artists, or must it be one source of income? That I don't know the question to. Dada. I'm not sure what the story would be for a freelance artist, because like you say, it's from different sources of income. Maybe even though you register, maybe it is from different sources of income, you sort of register them as one revenue stream. I'm not sure. Hey Dave, have you been to Totori Sand Dunes? Could make for a great surreal video. I have not been there. That's already sounds cool. Sand dunes are pretty sweet. That's that would be worth checking out. Always looking for different places to go and visit. Do you register in Japan or US or both? For your business, you'd register in Japan. You're living in Japan. You're going to conduct your business. Your revenue is generated from Japan, so you would register as a Japanese business. I wouldn't have to. No. Okay, no. Novo guy. Okay, let me clarify that. So to get a manager visa, you need to have, I believe it's 5 million yen up front, as well as with a business plan to say how you're going to implement that 5 million yen into a business. Then, actually, in addition to that 5 million yen, to get all the right stamps and paperwork done, you still need an additional $2,000, roughly speaking, to incorporate yourself. The business is much more than $2,000 that you need to have available. It's 5 million yen, but then there's the additional cost of incorporating, getting all that kind of, paperwork done, as I say, which is an additional 2,000. Yeah. I mean, if think about that, if like all it took to start a business in Japan was $2,000, you'd have a much different landscape of immigration to Japan. Isn't it like a business that has different clients? I mean, any business has different sources of income. That's what I was thinking, right? Like, a school has income from all these different people. So I think if you wanted to be a freelance artist and have a business, you would just like, I wouldn't call it that. I would register as like an art gallery or something like that. I mean, and so when you're doing your taxes and stuff, your business is recognized as an art gallery, but in actual fact, you're like a freelance artist doing, whatever else. You'd find ways to make it kind of vibe with each other. That would be how that would all go down. That's cool. That's some good lighting for you. Like, it's the most boring, like, nature shot in the world. But with a nice sensor and some good light, kind of looks cool. These are so-so. If I put these shots through Lightroom, I think I could do some really cool stuff. This one especially, that looks cool. Okay. So your income has to come from Japan. Your income isn't generated from Japan, is it? No. It's not that it has to come from Japan. No. It's not that it's generated from Japan. It's that you are a resident of Japan, and so the money that you're accumulating. I mean, this all happens when you register your whatever your taxes with if you're making any kind of money on YouTube. That you would like register and say, hey, I'm making enough money here that it's taxable in Japan, and you would pay taxes on your YouTube revenue and maybe your merchandise revenue and your donations and all these different revenue streams that you may have. Whatever, you know, Simon and Martina, I'm sure, you know, they're releasing videos with like 250,000 plus views. Like, that's all they release. I don't know if they have videos that go much under 200,000 views. And so whatever revenue they're making there, plus their merchandise, they would all be doing that in their taxes. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing, too. That's a good point there, Slitherus. Yeah, the U.S., like, tax thing is, that's more complicated. There's definitely much more to be done there, which I don't mess with. Isaac says, another location to look into is the Hitachi Seaside Park. Surprise, Isaac! I already made a video about Hitachi Seaside Park. That's in my video travel library. If you look through, you'll find me going there. Have I been to LL Bean in Kichijoji? No. I've never been there. To the LL Bean. LL Bean. Jordan Eppright. Have you tried any American-style barbecue in Tokyo? White Smoke was one. Guys were from hometown in Texas, but they had a fire and closed, and I think it's a smokehouse. I would love to. I haven't tried that yet, but I would love to. I love barbecue. I am a carnivore in that respect. Damien, I think you only pay tax in U.S. when you make over 100K. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, hands in the air, I don't know any of the details with the American taxation situation when you live in Japan. I plan on just going the usual route, like yourself, get the teaching job, try to get a better job, maybe do some YouTubing, really just want to live there and work on my art. That's cool. That's cool, man. Would giving a tour of your school you currently work at maybe show what a typical Japanese school life is like? Would that be super frowned on? Basically, you can't show children. You can't show children or any students of that school in the video, or you lose your job so fast your head would explode. Like, if any students ended up on any social media, you'll be fired. I really don't understand then. Like, one thing that you could do, and even then I feel like I don't think I would do this, is like, if you no longer work at a school and you had taken pictures with the students at like a sports event or like giving some thumbs up or whatever, if you got some pictures that you had when you were at that school and you now no longer work at that school, and stretch, impromptu stretch, if you posted those on social media afterwards, chances are you'd be fine with it because that school's not going to hold you accountable for it. But if you are at a school and you put anything from that school that includes students in it on social media, you're fired. And I think rightly so. Like, you shouldn't put students on social media. That's, ew, gross, bad. But I forgive people who haven't maybe thought about this more, because I had an awesome school that I used to work at where I was at a sports festival, and I thought, this is so cool. This was a junior high school I worked at. So I was at a junior high school, and we were doing this sports festival, And I was like, this is the coolest thing. And there's like all this kind of like, you might say, traditional stuff that the kids are doing. Like they do this like cheer thing that they start with where everybody cheers in front of each other. And I thought that would just be a cool cultural thing for people to see. And I even filmed at like a distance from people, so it was like hard to make their faces out. But then, I mean, in some sense I should have been fired for that, but the teachers there liked me, and they found out about it afterwards because I was open about the fact that I did YouTube. I wasn't trying to hide anything. I was like, oh yeah, I do YouTube, and I'm trying to build up my channel. And one of the teachers watched it, and she was like, Dave, I saw that stuff on there, and you need to take that down, or you need to make those videos private so people no longer see it, or like you could get fired for that. So my school, like you saw a little humanity there, right? They're not automatons, they're not robots, they're not just like, oh, on social media you're fired, unless you're a dick. If you're a dick and they're like already looking for a reason, post some students on social media and you are out, you're done, get the door. So yeah, that's kind of the situation there. But I would love to, and I don't know, I mean, I guess it's that you have special, like, I don't know how they have permission to do this sometimes. Like, some channels that I've seen that post schools with students in it, and I'm like, does nobody know about this? How is this going on, and these people aren't losing their jobs? Because kind of the businessman in me, the horrible businessman in me, also identifies the fact that people are so curious about that. They're like, what is the inside of a Japanese school like? That would be really interesting. And so where I'm like, that is just view fodder. Like, if you got a video like that, you'd get tons of views, and it'd be interesting culturally. But you can't do it. You can't do it. American taxation situation. No taxation without representation. There's another shot coming up here pretty soon. This one, man, that is sweet. Oh, this signpost, I was like, that is just begging to get pictures taken of it. That one is, what is that? That's on auto, that's on manual. Different settings here depending on, that's cool too. I really like, man, these pictures. That's another thing. I should do my my daily. I haven't done it at all yet. I'm surprised. I should do my daily plug for my Patreon, because quite happy to say there's been some really cool stuff going on my Patreon recently, where I've opened up to everybody now on Patreon that if you support me at any level on there, you gain access to a shared folder of all the photos that I'm taking around Japan. Which, whoa! Ouch, okay. Apparently I have lost supporters recently. That's the thing with Patreon, is it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So I wonder who has jumped ship recently. Anyways, I'll find that out later. I'll just provide you guys with the link, so you can see it now, in case you're curious, in case you're like, hey, I would like some cool, sweet photos. That would be awesome. Yeah, support at any level gets you access to this constantly growing folder of shots that I'm taking all around Japan. No, I was a rebel. I just took that dirty, filthy signpost picture, whether it liked it or not. Andrew, hi Dave. Been following you for some time on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. Love the content. Quick question: I have a small tattoo on my foot. Will I be disallowed in onsens? All you would want to do for that, Andrew, is I have a friend who's got like a couple of tattoos on his body, and what you do is you get sports tape, and sports tape that's obviously what would you call that? Waterproof, and you just put it over the tattoo. So something as small as that, not a big deal at all. Totally fine. Totally fine. Notifications. Okay. What is the best way to find an apartment in Japan? The way that I did it, it was like, let what was it? www.homes.jp? I think it was something like that. It was something like homes.jp that I was using. Homes.co.jp. Maybe it was this one. Yeah, this site that's up on the screen right now. So you can do from address, from station, from anything. You can narrow down exactly into where it is that you want to go, and this is then attached to this site is attached to a bunch of different real estate agents, and you'll find a place to live, which is really, really good. I use this to find the current house that I'm in right now, and there was no short supply. So you can go like oh man, you can even here we were talking about real estate earlier. Where's a place that you could buy? Bam, here's a place that you can buy, but you could go rent. Then we'll go like say Tokyo, and then I don't know, you want to be a baller, we go to Minatoku, and then you scroll down to this right here, and you're like, I want 1 LDK, no security deposit. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I love that too. Bam, 31. You don't have with security deposits, so you can save a bunch of money. Walking distance from the station. Let's go within 10 minutes walking station. And then boom, we'll click here, and ta-da! You get all these different places that you could live in Minatoku and pay a shit ton of money because you live in Minatoku. So expect to play some cash. Yeah, you're looking at, like, to give you a sense of cost, like this one right here is 163,000 yen a month, and so bear in mind on Interact they pay about 230 to 250. Oh shit! Hey Frank, thank you very much. I just saw Frank has contributed and supported me now on Patreon. I really appreciate that very much, Frank. And so when this stream concludes, I will go and send you a copy of Stoneheart, because you get a copy of Stoneheart, as well as I will send you the link for that photo shared folder to use on all your different digital devices. So that's much appreciated, especially as I see I just went down 10, so you just did damage control for me, Frank. Thanks so much. Wow, that's awesome. Big thank you. I'll get that taken care of right away after the stream. So talking about here, what I'm saying is, yeah, so you've got this right here, costs 163,000 yen, and it's a 1 LTK. That's nice. A lounge, dining room, like blah, blah, blah. You got all these different amenities. 38, call it 38 and a half square meters, 163,000 yen. I pay 55,000 yen, and the size of my place is 52 square meters. So living in Tokyo, living in the countryside, you see the sort of like space differences that you get, and the cost, like, oh my god. That is some cash, right? Like, you got the floor plan here. Okay, I mean, that's, in all honesty, like, oh, I can't turn it? Yeah, so you got your, like, where are you gonna enter from? So, you'd enter from, where? I don't see the initial door. It's funny, I think a lot of people might find the cement wall in a place like this. They wouldn't like that, but I think that's kind of cool. I almost kind of like that sort of industrial aspect to a building that you might live in, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you can see it. It's kind of like all the way to the back there. Really weird. So this is basically like, damn. Okay, and they've renovated it so it looks kind of nice, but okay, so yeah, this would be like, hey, look at me with my middle income and kind of decent place that I live. But yeah, well, look at you. But you got to pay 163,000 yen a month. Ayya. But we're looking in like one of the most desirable places in Tokyo, so you can kind of expect that these prices are wild. Where you can find places like that you don't need to spend this amount of money, and you could live in Tokyo. When do the sakura trees start to bloom? You can expect them sort of like, when would it be? It would be like late April, kind of late April-ish that I think that you would start to see it around that time. Oh, we got some more questions here, too. I cannot see the site name because of your camera. What is the site name? Excuse me. www.homes.co.jp. So let's go up here. Is it really that hard to date over there? I know you've only dated one person since you've arrived. Is that because of a lack of trying? Oh, well... I should be careful. Like, there's a difference between, like, having a girlfriend and dating. I had one girlfriend, but I've dated lots of dating in Japan. So, no, there's no short supply of women and dates to be had here, or men, if you're into that kind of thing. And it's obviously easier when you're in a city, but I live in the middle of nowhere, and you can get dates. It's not a big deal. I mean, for myself, a lot of my life here and kind of like not dating as much as maybe I would is a result of you got to be a lone wolf. I'm a one-man wolf pack. I got to work on YouTube, and spending a lot of time dating, it's like I can't date. I got to go to this cool place and make a video or something. So it's sort of self-imposed. I also, before I arrived to Japan, it was like a real heavy party lifestyle and women and all that kind of stuff, where like it didn't make when I came here I was like, I want to go monk for a little bit. I want to kind of focus on doing more creative stuff, which has been good. You know, we all go, it's a pendulum in all our lives, ebb and flow of the interests that we have. I've heard that less and less people in Japan are interested in intimacy and being in a relationship. Maybe that's true, relatively speaking, but I don't think anybody who does want to be in a relationship will find it's an issue seeking out other people that they could potentially have as a partner, go on dates with, whatever. But given like the scale of the population, yeah, sure, maybe that's something that's increasing. I mean, the Japanese term for it is like herbivore, because it's like you only eat grass. It's like, which is kind of funny when you go into like thinking where did that come from? And I think it's like there is something to be said for the sort of like dynamic that exists in a traditional Japanese relationship. If like you're a Japanese dude and you want to date a Japanese girl and live a traditional Japanese life, that the drain on you in a traditional Japanese corporate structure is so brutal that it doesn't as much allow for intimate relationships. The landscape is always changing, and if you look into like birth rates and stuff like that, I went down a wiki wormhole recently. It's like really fascinating stuff to see kind of the pre-war era, the post-war era, the economic boom, I believe it was in the 80s, then the crash that occurred as a result of that, and all of these things impact relationships and how people are intimate with each other, as well as the landscape due to technology. That's another huge impact that you're going to see. And this is all rapidly changing, so I think that less intimate relationships due to the current landscape could very well be a reality. But in a kind of microcosm, when it comes down to you personally, I don't think anybody's going to be like, I just can't find anybody to go out on a date with. This is crazy here. Like, it's not like that. Unless you're an absolute Goomba. Even then, I think there's a Goomba for a Goomba out there. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Dave. How is the weather over there? It's been 70, 80 in Florida. I don't know. I only know Celsius, so I don't have a good sense of that. It's been cold here. Let's put it that way. I've watched a lot of your content. That's Eric. And I'm just curious, what gets you inspired to create a video or concept? You'll notice, like, I try and keep some uniformity on my channels. I've got, like, travel videos, food videos, top 10s. That's kind of like what I've tried to make it conform to, because I think people do. In fact, I know people do like consistency. So one of the things that like I look for is just a cool place. There's like kind of cool that one is a cool place where it's like this would just be so interesting to go here. The next would be I love eating food. All humans love food. All food videos do well. So find a cool place to go and like do decent justice to a food video. And then as I've developed my ability to do all these things better, I've kind of headed in the direction of more like purely creative videos. I've even done them in the past. Like a video that did really well was called A Guide for Letting Go. That did really well for me, really well. It got like 9K views. I did the one recently, was like the 3 stages of teaching in Japan, which is like a micro movie. Then I did the Winter Witch, which is sort of like a found footage thing. And behind me, you can't see it here, but one of the things I've done, I'll actually go and open this up for like a second and then close it, is I've gotten the proper like whiteboards or like white sheets that I'm now like storyboarding stuff out now. And yeah, it's like, I think a lot of inspiration is it's actually not inspiration. It's like it's a concerted effort to do something cool, where it didn't come to you like, I need to do something cool, and so what could I do? And I just start writing notes, and I write things that I even know aren't useful, but just to like start thinking, where I'm like, I want to do a video about kind of Japanese lifestyle, and then I'll write like going to an onsen. I know that going to an onsen may be something that will never work, but I just like start to jot down ideas like that until I get something. And I've noticed the more you practice that, like you practice anything, you get better at just creating ideas out of thin air. And the next one that I'm going to do that is more the micro movie, more like kind of, yeah, it's going to be a little micro movie essentially, is called the Cost of Living in Japan. And I've like storyboarded out the vast majority of it. I think it'll take place over like 3 acts, so it should be around like 10 minutes, but I'll show you here. This is really cool. And I like it. Like, I think people would be surprised just how much fun. So you can see it here. I hope you can see it here. The whiteboard. And then I got another one that I can storyboard on, that I like cruise over to this side when I'm done on this one. And I storyboard stuff. And storyboarding is so much fun. It's like, I mean, I suppose I wouldn't be doing any of this if there wasn't some element of fun to it, but I really, really like the storyboarding. It's great. It's great. But yeah, got to be careful with those questions about like creating video concepts and stuff, because I love it so much I can get lost on that. The next 3 hours of the stream will be how Dave thinks about making shit. Good to hear. I should have clarified, Lel. Cabal Society. I think you and Norm from Tokyo Lens YouTube channel could make a cool video together. Have you ever met him? He's an 18K subs and growing. I feel like it would be a great collab. Funny that you should say that, Cabal. He's on fire right now, isn't he? He's done so well. In that kind of like sense, it's like, yeah, everything he touches has turned to gold for his channel recently. And you betcha I saw him. I was like, yeah, this guy's channel's blowing up, and he seems like a really, really chill dude. And so I've already contacted Norm, and it was some time in the making. Like I actually contacted him months ago and said, hey, it'd be cool, like we should make something fun and whatever. It doesn't matter, like I'm open to brainstorming something. I'd suggest that we chat on Skype. And he said that he was down, but he said, oh, I can't, and this was months ago, he's like, I can't do something until March. I said, no problem. I was like, it's no pressure with anybody. I mean, I would say 90% of the people I reach out to collaborate don't even get back to me. So when he said that, I was like, yeah, take your time. And then we just confirmed recently, I would say within the last 2 weeks, I got a hold of him on Twitter again, and I said, hey, Norm, what's the deal? You still interested in doing this? Speak now or forever hold your peace kind of thing. And he said, yeah, so what we're going to do is beginning of March, because, again, I don't want to be bashing down his door, let the guy live his life or whatever. We're going to have a conversation on Skype. We're going to brainstorm, and then we're going to do a collaboration sometime in March. So what I was thinking would be cool, and something that I've like really wanted to do for the last while, talking about brainstorms that I've had, is that there's all these kind of lesser known, really cool neighborhoods in Japan that maybe you know, not in Japan, in Tokyo, maybe you know about them if you live in Tokyo. You'd be like, oh yeah, that neighborhood, this neighborhood. But for anybody like from my audience who doesn't live in Tokyo or live in Japan, all of these neighborhoods would be new, and they're not so often talked about. They kind of have a little bit of that off the beaten path feel. And so I was thinking, if each one of us covered, and kind of like we go to a place to eat there, we go to like kind of an interesting store there, and we kind of like just do this snapshot, couple of, you know, snapshots of what's kind of the essence of these neighborhoods and the sort of vibe that you get when you go there. That we each do our neighborhood, and then you'd go to the other channel to see each neighborhood that we explored, and I think that that would be really, really cool. So that was the idea, and yeah, so fingers crossed that that Norm continues to want to collaborate, because you don't even know if one of these collaborations will come to fruition until you're out there filming with each other, because people in their lives, right, they're busy, tangled messes, so we'll see. All right, Project, catch you later. Thanks for dropping by the stream. Humans, good one. Do you know a resource for finding volunteer work? That I don't know. Frank, this folder of photos you've taken is awesome. I have such a hard time finding photos for my wallpaper, and I've already found a ton I would love to use. Awesome, Frank. That's wonderful to hear. Like, it means the world to me. Like I say, I mean, I would love to think that I'll just explode and I'll get all these views and I'll be able to do YouTube full time. But when you're talking about statistical likelihood, the statistical likelihood of that is far less likely than if I can reach an audience of people that so enjoy what it is that I'm creating that they can support me. So that's really really making the dream a reality. So thank you so much for doing that. And oh snap, I just got another notification. Thank you so much to Thomas McIntosh. You as well. Looks like I've got that. Yeah. So the person who just, and no harm, no foul there for the person who had stopped donating on Patreon. But you guys have now, you just in this stream session alone, you guys have caught me back up. Oh yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So yeah, to the both of you, I will absolutely be sending you guys a copy of the book, and you can probably see there as well, Thomas, like Frank found already. I've linked so many times the folder for the shared images, but if you can't see that, then I'll totally send it to you afterwards here. So thank you so much. Your help makes my dream a reality. Let's see. Moving on the questions here. Make sure you show the numbers in the cost of living video. Funny thing, Isaac, I'm turning that on its head. It's not like the cost of living. That's meant symbolically, but you see, that's a cool thing, is I think a lot of people will see that and be like, oh, cost of living in Japan, but then they'll be in for something like way more interesting than they'd initially gone in for, as opposed to like, as useful as a statistical comparison would be, and those videos get tons of views, this one's a real passion project to make like a micro movie. So it's gonna be more like a movie, and maybe the greater, like the more like symbolic costs of living in Japan than it is about like your gas bill is $50. Yeah, so that's going to be a little different, but yeah, that's what I thought. I thought people would see that and they'd be like, oh, hey, cost of living in Japan. I'll check. What the fuck is this? Maybe some people will resent that. I don't know. But I'm going to work hard on it. I've been storyboarding it out. I have my actors. It's going to be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this collab with Norm. Hope that it goes through. He seems like a chill dude. I'm stoked to see what you and Norm make. Your idea is awesome, right? It's a cool idea. I think that would be a lot of fun. It's great to see the community trying to work together as much as I can, man. Like, as much as I can, I try to collab with people and collab with them before they blow up to the point where I'm like, oh, now I got to ask this person who's got like 500,000 subs if they want to collab. I mean, I loved doing. It's a shame because their channel is essentially shut down because they, as the hosts, are leaving. But that, oh man, was it awesome to see how that collaboration went with Yummy Japan with Charlie and Victor. That video for me, that blew up for my channel. That was like a blown up video to be up over 10,000 views, and they made a great video. I was like super proud of that video. It was like really kind of like stretching my legs with understanding my camera and my gear and storyboarding and all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Hope I am not too late. You are never too late, Empress Lania. I will be in Japan on March 17th. Can you repeat the house website name one more time? Yeah, certainly. It's Homes, so www.homes.co.jp. Like, really straightforward. Currently waiting to hear my results from the JET program. Really enjoy your channel. Panda Bear Sam. Hello, Panda Bear Sam. Thanks very much. I'm sure myself and everybody in the chat here supports your efforts and hopes that you go on through to great success. Great success. So that'll be awesome. Right on, Sub-Zero. Thanks very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. They were like, you have very different experiences depending on the people that you're collaborating with, and I can say that collaborating with them was awesome. Like, they were, I mean, they're so professional. It was like they knew exactly how they wanted to do it. They were really, really chill. It was like, yeah, it was like clockwork working with those guys to get that done. Really, really enjoyed it. Let's look at another apartment in Tokyo. Oh, they're renovating, so we don't really get to see. Okay, that doesn't really butter my biscuit, so we'll have to find a different one. Thank you very much, I can't speak. I cannot speak. TKG. Ah, that was hard. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Glad you liked those photos, Thomas. Glad you found your way in there. And it will constantly grow. That is my covenant with you, is that I will provide a constantly growing access to better and better and better shots around Japan. No, it did not. That site is it's in Japanese, but it translates into English, so you can use it in English. Like, you might notice actually everything that I'm going over, it's like initially in Japanese and then boom, flips over. So that's good. Let's see. This is such a baller area to live. So, of course, you're paying over $2,000 to live in this area. Yeah, this tiny little bedroom for about $2,000. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Life is expensive. Life is so expensive. All right, I'm gonna be right back, guys. I have to go to the bathroom quickly. Not losing too many people. Okay. So there are some more questions that showed up here. And the music has stopped. Why is the music stopped? Oh, it's probably... Okay, next page, next page. Oh, this is a cool song. I used this in the, what was it? What video was it? It was the Tokyo nightlife video. This was at the end, nice and chill. It's in Japanese, but yeah, it switches over. Switching to something a bit sexier, taxes when working. Do you need to pay income tax for both countries? Sorry for a question that doesn't directly involve housing. That's fine. Ask any questions. We talked about video games at one point here. Okay. Do you need to pay income tax for both countries? No, I do not pay income tax for both countries. Hell no. Hell no. Although it's like, I don't even think you necessarily pay income tax in the US if you're living in Japan, but I think you still have to do like some kind of registration or something when you're over here. I'm not sure. Not seeing how to change it to English. Well, if you're on Google Chrome, you just like hit up in the top right corner and it should work. Anime Angel, good question. I just asked my tax people and they weren't ever sure. Yeah, if you're, all right, catch you later, Bill. Have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. It was good to see you. Yeah, it definitely depends on what country you're from. What's the best accommodation to use if you're on travel visa and stay for a few months? Like Airbnb, guest houses, or I heard about co-working apartments on a channel. I would say that one of the best things you can use are just these guest houses, which are essentially like capsule hotels, but they call them guest houses. It just like where you're paying like 30 bucks a night, or if you know that you're going to be in an area, say like for 2 weeks or something like that, for extended periods of time, I think Airbnb is better. But I think for short periods of time, say 2 or 3 days, that using one of those shared houses is definitely the way to go. Yeah, I would long-term B&B, short-term shared house. That's what I would say. That's the impression I've got from other people as well, who've kind of like talked about their experiences of it. Let's see as we head up this path. Yeah, that's cool. Got a focus there right in the middle. That looks cool. Very cool. This whole forest was so cool to walk through. Shortly, oh, that's a good shot. Shortly thereafter, it got pretty rocky and slippery and hilly. I actually, coming back down from this mountain, oh, I'll answer these questions first. Let's see. Oh, a bunch of questions. Land of maple syrup. That is correct. We do have excellent maple syrup. I was just watching the nightlife one before getting excited that you were doing a live stream. Oh, right, awesome. Right, awesome. Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, that nightlife video was that was a serious undertaking. But I was so happy. I was like, yes, where like the Winter Witch did shitty, that Tokyo nightlife one did awesome, and that had some good hours put into that one, so I really appreciate the positive feedback. Okay. Okay, feel free to call me crazy. You're crazy. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm wanting to go there and just do conversational English one-on-one, maybe put together a couple of groups of 4 to 5. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Why not? Hey, Dave, just got here. How much longer do you think you'll go? Kind of playing it by ear, want to be a pro. It's been really, really good. Really, really good stream so far. Great questions, good flow. So as long as we're flowing, I figure we'll go for a little while yet. Andrew, when you applied for Interact, what was the total time it took you to get to Japan from initial application to the arrival in Japan? Mine was weird because they hired me at like a weird window, so it probably took around like 4 or 5 months, I would say. Quite some time because of the odd window that I slotted into. So which taxes do you pay first year, and what about percentage of your salary and all? In first year, you don't pay taxes because you have no record of income. What site is that? That site is homes.co.jp for the housing. How many winter witches did you put into the video? I put 2 winter witches into the video. You can see the witch twice if you're looking carefully. If you're in the US, you fill out a form saying you're making money in Japan just so it doesn't cause future... Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. It's in the Jet Handbook. Bam! There you go. Thanks very much, Cabal. That clears that up. How have your cooking habits changed since moving to Japan? They're incredibly similar. Incredibly similar. Like, when I'm eating well for myself, it's like chicken and greens. Like, so it didn't really change. Although here in Japan, I eat natto. I eat a lot of natto, which is super healthy. Is Trudeau's father Fidel Castro? I don't know. Perhaps, secretly. If you go back to Canada, will you still be doing YouTube? I will be doing YouTube for time eternal. And I think YouTube will really change into like a number of different things as technology evolves, and I will always be creating and presenting it to an audience. So wherever that takes me, I'll be there, and I think that's going to be YouTube for a long time. You don't pay income tax in the first year, Lania, or you pay like a stipend, a tiny stipend of it, because income tax is dependent on the amount of income that you have. So in the first year that you're in Japan, you have no record of income, so you don't pay income tax in the first year. In the following year, now you have a record of income in Japan, and so they would tax you in, using that as where they're drawing their information from. Okay. I'm at 1.7k subs, Charles. Can you believe that just by posting music? That's sick, Mr. Boot. It's growing fast. That's faster than I ever grew. Of course, I was doing like 480p webcam videos. TKG, is it possible to be traveling in Japan and find a job through networking and go back home and get the visa required to work? There's no... Taylor, there's no witch here. There's no witch in this right here. It's just photos that I took on the trip. Also, the witch shows up in the video when I am not in the frame, the 2 times that it does show up. That's a tough one. So, I'm trying to understand that question. Is it possible to travel Japan and find a job through networking and go back home? Okay, so to answer that first part, yes, you can network with somebody and they may put you in contact with a job and go back home and get the visa required to work. You wouldn't even necessarily go back home. You would process the visa while you were here in Japan. I mean, if you were here on like a working holiday visa or a tourist visa, you could get that set up while you were here. My indie game company is currently located in the Netherlands. Is it hard to sign that name under the Japanese government once I move? I'm not sure what signing like your indie game company would be like. I gotta be careful because I want to speak from a point of experience and not from speculation. And so when it gets into like the specific company registration that you would do, it's a tough question. Can foreigners teach subjects aside from English? I think you could in a university if your Japanese was high level enough. Or just maybe even not even if you were just like a well-known doctor, like doctorate student, or I mean doctorate, that you would be able to. I'm sure there's foreign teachers in Japanese universities, but very, 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 very rare in any sort of like anything less than a university for that to be the case. No, I believe as a tourist visa, actually, yeah, like I know a guy who came over specifically and did that. Back to housing real quick. What is your opinion of the common Leo Palace that most ALTs live in? Okay, so basically, Leo Palace is useful in a first year. Again, because everything is taken care of for you. So it's like everything is set up, you get into your Leo Palace, You've got your internet, you've got your bills all good to go. Everything's all good to go. But then, once you've moved past the first year, your Leo Palace is overpriced for the amount that you pay for it. It's totally... Even, and I say this only, like, I was in one for far longer than I should have been. You only want to be in one of those for like a year, but sure, it's really, really convenient when you first arrived. Let's team up, Charles. Let's team up. You not sub to me. You got to check my art video. I'm ready. Reading your novel. By the way, I have lots of questions. Yeah, Mr. Boot, hit me up with whatever questions you want. That's why we're here in the stream. To chat, to answer questions. That's cool. I like this. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I got some cool shots on this trip. Got some really cool shots. Very proud of them. Getting near the tower. We're getting up to the top. That's a trippy one. That messes with your head. Do you have any idea how hard it would be to get into the real estate business in Japan? I know it'd be as hard as having enough capital to invest in real estate, which in itself is a big enough challenge. So beyond that, I'm not entirely sure. Not totally sure. Is that... Oh, that's my last... We've hit the last photo from Hananuki Valley. We've made our way all the way through. It's no good. Bed Halloween 2016, Yanaka Ginza Shotengai. Yeah, let's do these. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. This is, oh, whoa. That's a big comment. What was this? It was like Yu Yake Dandan or something like that. It means like slow sunset or something. This place is quite well, this is from the collaboration video that I did with the guys. This is at the entrance into the Shotengai, which is pretty damn cool, I must say. This whole adventure with those guys was awesome. Really, really enjoyed it. And it really does earn the name for whatchamacallit. Damn it. I'm trying to think what it's called. The Shotengai. To go into a Shotengai was really, really, really cool. This lady right here, you can see her with her hand out next to this little fan. She was cool. I talked to her a little bit. Was there a lot of downtime for you during the workday during your first year? In my first years, I was working at yeah, a couple of junior high schools, and so there was a lot of downtime, but it was fine. I mean, I wrote a book, I studied Japanese, I did whatever I could to evolve in that spare time. That's one thing I can't abide by, is when people say that they're bored in a teaching job. I'm like, then fucking do something if you've got this time that makes you bored. It's also a sign to me that somebody's never had a real job before, because it's like, to be bored in a job is a privilege that you would be bored, as opposed to like worked till you die, endless labor. Like, it's a dream to have free time or downtime in a job. I've been to Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. What other non-touristy places would you recommend visiting? Non-touristy, I think a really, really cool thing to do is to go along the, of this island that we're on here, something that I did on a day with my old Misako sensei, wonderful Misako sensei, my first Japanese teacher. We went on a trip along the Japanese coast, it was the East Coast. We went along the East Coast, which was like if you went east from Chiba, and we went along that coast. And that's, I mean, it's the coast, right? I mean, there's all these points that may be points of interest along the way, but a lot are relatively unknown, and the coast is really cool. Very, like, primal, lots of it not really that developed, and kind of that open ocean feel, like really interesting geography and structures, and Man, we stopped at one place. I think it was like, there's a place that's not too far from me now that has amazing ramen, and this is like the one other place that competed with it. It was absolutely amazing ramen. So I'd recommend going along the Japanese coast if you don't want somewhere that's quote-unquote touristy. How much time in the day were you in an actual classroom? I guess to be more specific, and did other teachers seem to mind if you were doing things unrelated in downtime? Okay, so I would probably have, like, in a day that would have 6 periods, I could have anywhere between 0 classes to 5. So a day, like maybe a low day for me, like maybe I only had 2 classes in that day, and so I was left with 4 periods that were wide open. And so the key to not pissing anybody off, which is the second half to that question, is do things that wouldn't piss people off in that kind of context. So if I'm reading a book, they're not pissed off. If I'm studying Japanese, they're not pissed off. If I'm like writing a book, they're not pissed off. If you were browsing on the internet all the time, they'd be pissed off. So just avoid things that piss people off, and you'll be fine. I went on the 3-week trip to Fukui and went into schools to observe Japanese school systems as someone who is majoring education in America. That's really interesting. That would be a trip. Very cool. No worries, Fujiwara. Appreciate you dropping by in any context, so thanks for doing so. I'm sure we'll catch you some other time. So no, yes, there's one of the key points. Key point you pointed out there, my friend. No drums during your downtime. You got it. You got it. That's something I would avoid. Personally, I would avoid. Yeah, friendly lady. This is the lady. She's got these like cool things that you can attach to your phone. Yeah, she was super chill. Super chill. We got more cats, more kitty cats. Really, really chill looking kitty cats here. Kind of goes with the music. The playful kitty cats. How do you connect with your community members as a foreigner? How would I answer that? Like, I guess, you know what, the member that I have the greatest interaction with, because I don't have that much free time. I've like, my days are filled. It's my Japanese teacher. My Japanese teacher is like, that's how I interact with the community, because she's a local person here, and we've developed a good, I would say, a friendship. Like, she's definitely, I've gone over, I do practice exams before the JLPT, but then she's had me over for dinner to like have dinner with her husband and her, which is really, really nice, and she makes amazing food, and we hang out and we chat. But aside from that, I just have no time. I got no time for it, you know. I can't be social, really. Okay, let's turn this down a bit. Or actually, let's just go Cuckoo Cafe. Jungle. This is jungle category. Interesting. Do you have a girlfriend, Kendo Okura? No, currently I do not have a girlfriend. Right now I'm a free bird, flying solo. We got more cats. I mean, this whole Shotengai, this just shopping street, its whole theme is Cat Street. So, yes, there you go. Cats. Lots of cats. These cats are really cool. These are some cool cats, one might even say. If you guys want to see, like, all this stuff is on my Instagram a lot. There's my, that's my Instagram if you want to follow me there. Please do follow me on Instagram. I appreciate that. Lets me get the word out for things like this. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no. Oh, that was good. I was worried I wasn't gonna get that sneeze. Thank you so much, Jordan. Really appreciate the tip. Thank you very much for the tip. It is a pleasure to put out content for people such as yourself who appreciate it and enjoy it. And it's part of that cycle of creation. No artist is an artist without an audience, and you guys are awesome for supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. What area is this from? This is from the collaboration that I did with Yummy Japan. Yummy Japan and I went to Yanaka Ginza Shotengai, and this street, which is known as Cat Street, has all these different cats on it. So if you want to know about this more, go and check out the collab I did on my channel with Yummy Japan. It's called Tokyo Street Food, A Journey Back in Time, because this Shotengai is modeled after the Showa period, which is like 1926. That's kind of like the beginning of the Showa period is 1926. As it was cool making this video, let me tell you. It's a goal to go to a cat cafe. Could too. Want to be pro. Still being in school. I feel like I'm in an in-between point in life. In your experience, does that go away? The only thing I could try and urge anybody younger than myself, because you will always feel, as much as you may have a little more wisdom, you feel the same. That mind that inhabits this body feels the same. And it's like you just got to make use of your time. There's nothing more tragic than a wasted life. Nothing more tragic. And so get started on your passion early. Get started on your interests. Get started on your family. Get started on whatever it is that rings your bell. And get going. Because it is all too easy to turn around in life and realize by the time you've reached 30, by the time you've reached 40, that you've been fucking around and you haven't done anything of value. You haven't challenged yourself in any way. And I think it's that kind of emptiness that really gets to people. But the sooner you realize it, the sooner you're fine. The sooner you'll be at a state where you're like, man, I've been doing stuff. I'm improving myself. And the sooner you do it, I feel like the more energy you have to do so. And also, when good things take time. That's like, that's a song. There's a lyric in a song that I really, really enjoy that just talks about how, like, these good things take time. The sooner you start, the greater an opportunity you give yourself to have spent enough time for those things to grow into something truly meaningful. I started my channel almost as soon as I arrived, so I'm like, okay, I did as much as I could there. But I only really started to, like, realize what the channel could be when one of my friends literally said, why don't you go outside? Where before, it just never struck me. Because I never made anything before, media-wise, to, like, try and evolve that skill. But as soon as I knew, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta evolve this skill. Music suggestions. Favorite artists, albums, need something new to listen to. That's not hard. That's not hard. I would try Patience by Nas and Damian Marley. That's an awesome song. I was enjoying recently. Really, really chill. Another, like, if I can pull up here my list of artists. Why is this not refreshing? I have so many. Like, I'm a music fiend. I'm constantly listening to music and getting new artists and trying to broaden those music horizons. Let's see. Let's go next picture too. Why you no work? Stupid app. Okay, there we go. James Bay is cool for that heartbreaking song "Let It Go." Not to be confused with the Disney song. Really enjoying "Runaway" by Kanye West recently, which I thought was so cool that they used in the Westworld new trailer. Where, like, that's something they've always done, is taken cool songs and adapted them into piano for that show, and I was like, yeah, good on you, good choice. There's Cathedrals. That's a band that's awesome. Really, really good. Vallis Alps, they're amazing. Who else do we got here? I'm looking under Panama. Panama is an awesome band that I really, really enjoy, and they've got, like, a really eclectic style. It's all over the place. I feel like that. I feel like I'm an adult, but not actually doing adult things all the time. Like, I'm in a bubble that's about to pop when I graduate. Let me assure you that every adult is secretly a child, because, like I say, everybody is that same mind with more experience, and so obviously that changes you. But there's a certain core element to sentience, to being you, that is immutable and stays the same. It's like adults are all children pretending to be adults. The only difference is somebody who goes after what their interests are. And you can do that as a child, you can do that as a adolescent, you can do that as a young adult, you can do that at any point in time. But you should, because like I was saying earlier in the stream, I think that's really what separates the humans from the animals, is that animals search out food, because that's what allows them to subsist, that's what allows them to exist. Sentient thought, when you become sentient, when you are self-aware, we seek out meaning. And meaning is found in passion and in the things that interest you and your pursuit and improvement of those things. So you got to do it. If you want to end up happy, you got to find something and you got to challenge yourself. You got to pick up something heavy and put it over there. Do you still have your car? I do not still, well, I still have a car, but I do not have the car, the definite article. I do not have the Skyline anymore. I have a cheap little shitbox. Actually, it's not even a shitbox. It's just a fine little K car. Point A to point B, that kind of thing. It's nice. I feel like your videos have really expressed those points. I felt like I've set myself up. Right on, wannabe pro. You'll make it. I'm not worried about you. Really, that Japanese accent. Why you no work? Actually, that's more the Chinese accent. The Japanese would be like, oh, why do you not work? That's more the Japanese accent. Why you no work? That's like the Mandarin. You should start a Discord. Yeah, I could start a Discord. It'd be like just a community of people, I guess, who like the channel, want to hang out and chat. That'd be cool. So, what is that line? My favorite song, actually, you want another band if you've not listened to them that much, is the Arcade Fire. Those guys are amazing and have really stood the test of time. Like, I think they've even released an album fairly recently, and I loved it. And my favorite song, I've got a lot of favorite songs from them, is called Wake Up. And the lyrics go, what are the lyrics that I love? It almost brings me to tears every time I hear them. It's like, what is it? We're all a million little gods causing rainstorms, turning every good thing to rust. And it's true. That's my favorite line. I'm gonna look up these lyrics because I like them so much. That's one of the lines, but it's something that precedes that. It's like, children, hold your mistake up before they turn the summer into rust, or summer into dust, something like that. Wake up, Arcade Fire lyrics. It's about the children all grow up, but the something about our, when you become a, okay, here we go. Children, wake up, hold your mistake up before they turn the summer into dust. Here it is. If the children don't grow up, our bodies get bigger, but our hearts get torn up. We're just a million little gods causing rainstorms, turning every good thing to rust. The children don't grow up, our bodies get bigger, but our hearts get torn up. Yeah, it's like your body's just getting bigger. It's not that you've really changed much from the essence of a child. Haha. The laughter of a child. Great song, though. You want to talk about music that's amazing. Our bodies get bigger, but our hearts get torn up. We're all just a million little gods causing rainstorms. That kind of the gods causing rainstorms on the, I suppose, the idea of being ungrateful for things, and we could, yeah, like we're all little gods, like we have everything that we could ever want, but we still, you know, we're still complaining. It's still never good enough for us. Just an amazing song. Okay, so in your opinion, if I'm working on a master's online while in Japan, will I miss out on the newness of life and not a fully experienced culture because the degree will require a lot of my time? Nah, you're fine. You're fine, Andrew. Like, I think you would definitely notice a lack of time, but when there's just so much experience that's like inevitable that comes about from living here, that you would find it. You would find it regardless. You'd have maybe less access to it than you normally would with a little more free time. But then if your intent is to go out there and experience it, I don't think you would suffer for that. Like, a lot of people come here, they got all the free time in the world, but they just stay in their house and they never ever go out and do anything, never ever experience anything. And so even with free time, they haven't experienced the culture. I think it really, your personal experience will lie with your priorities. And so if your priority is to get out there and experience things, you'll do that. Plastic. I found some songs by Maria Takeuchi. Pretty good. Very cool. I don't really know any Japanese bands, actually. It's kind of cool. Dreamy. This would definitely fall under dreamy. Am I right? Let's see. Urban Stories. Lounge. Okay. Did not call it. Did not call it. I was wrong. I was wrong. That's a shame. The Witch. What do you know about Chiba? I know that I lived about 40 minutes away from Chiba, the first place that I lived, in a town called Sanmu. Sanmu. No one in Japan knows about that town because it is so in the middle of nowhere. But I liked Chiba. Chiba was, although, I mean, to go on a bit of a tangent there, I think like it's so true that our experiences and our opinions of places are so formed by the experiences that we had there. And I had some like really, truly unforgettable, amazing experiences in Chiba. And so maybe the city is kind of meh, but the experiences I had were so good that I would always look back on Chiba very, very fondly. I used to play games, yes, but I have not had the time for it recently. Wannabe Pro. It's just not something I've been able to do in the past while. There's been little spurts, like I got Faster Than Light, which is sort of like you can play that and have it be like a self-contained experience and like a single playthrough. That might be... Actually, it's on my games folder here. So I did that. Then for a little bit of time, I played a little bit of Diablo again. I really, really like Diablo. Thanks. Is Chiba expensive? No, Chiba's not really expensive. I mean, when you compare it to... Oh, my back. Oh, my back. I need a back massage. That's great, me just bitching in the stream. Chiba is not terribly expensive. No, it's like it's one of these outer cities, and so yeah, it's going to be more expensive than if you were living in Tokyo, obviously, but relatively speaking, it's much less expensive. Much less expensive. Much. The live stream chilling. Yeah. Let's see. We got close personal shots of the cats. More of the Shotengai. Kittens. We got a shop just called Kittens. Okay. Really, like, there's some shots coming up here. There's shots with this lady serving amezake, which is like this sweet rice drink. Is amazing. Like, I love these shots with this lady and this little, like, everybody just sits out, and there was this like shaft, this beam of light coming through here. Looks so cool for the shot. That's a cool shot too. Lots of good shots coming out of here. You said it's going to be less expensive than Tokyo, right? Yeah, that's right. It's one of these like cities on the periphery of Tokyo, and as a result of that, naturally, it's less expensive. Do you recommend any places that aren't considered to be touristy but really awesome to go? I would say the coast of Japan is one of these places that that are really, really awesome to explore because there's no one single point that I would recommend, obviously. It's just kind of like, where do you find on there that means something to you? And when I'd done like a trip along the coast for a day, it was really cool. There were so many spots where I like got out and, you know, took some pictures, really enjoyed it. You can actually see, if you go back through my Instagram, there are shots on my Instagram from that trip that I took along the coast with Misako Sensei. And that was really, really cool. So there's like a million little like places, nooks and crannies that you find along the way that are really, really awesome when you when you go along the Japanese coast. I'm really hyping that coast. Really feeling the coast. We got the funk. It's so funky. Can you phonetically, I apologize for that, Keith. So how would I say your last name? Can you like put the phonetics in for me, and I will help. I will do that. I graduate from university in December, and then I hope to be in Japan shortly after. Replying to Jet, Altia, and Interact, obviously, but I'll be okay with the other two. Yeah, Altia, from everything that I could see, Altia seemed like a pretty good gig. Do you watch hentai? Hentai. God, I can't speak. Hentai. You bet your ass I do. Love me some hentai. Been a while since I watched your live stream. It's been a while. Good to see you, Jason. Well then, thank you for dropping by. So many questions. Sorry, on these applications, I can put down preferred destination. Which prefecture would you suggest living in? In your opinion, is there a prefecture that is underrated? How would I go about saying that? Basically, I harp on about this endlessly, that a lot of the best experiences in Japan are the ones that you don't see coming. And so, sure, it's fine to have a preference for a prefecture and stuff, but I would allow within your preferences a kind of openness to as the path departs, or like the trail departs from the central route that you were going down. If you see like, oh, there's a cool way I could go this way, as in they offer you some kind of like a weird placement you've never heard of, be open-minded to those kind of things. Not naive, like do a little research on the place, and if it seems like really, really shitty, don't go. But be open-minded, and it's not even the places that I could tell you about that you may have some of the most incredible experiences you would when you came here. So, while not being naive, maintaining a sort of open-mindedness to the less explored places that you could end up. Wyker. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thank you, Keith. I'm sure I'll be doing like thank yous again in following videos, so I will make a note to in fact, I'm sure just because we had this conversation, I'll remember that. In my interview, I stated I had a connection in Fukui, so that could be great, but I wouldn't mind being placed anywhere, and they seem to like my answer. There you go. There you go. There's some flexibility. It's working. That's not quite the shot. It's one of these shots. This shot, yeah, man, that's such a cool shot. My focus point, though, should have been on these people. It looks like my focus point ended up on these seats. So I'm like, that's all right, but it should have been on those people back there. And I should have closed my aperture to get a greater distance on the depth of field. But we're always learning, aren't we? Always learning. That's the one. That's my favorite shot. That was good. That is a good shot. TKG. What's your Wi-Fi speed? I want to travel around Japan and need unlimited Wi-Fi coverage. A lot of these companies offer pocket Wi-Fis. I don't have I mean, I have my in-house internet, so I don't know if that's like, I mean, it has Wi-Fi, but I mean, that's obviously a, it's like a gigabit connection. Can you buy, in all caps? I don't know if I would doubt very much that you could buy poppy seeds, Bert, because they have like zettai dame towards any sort of intoxicant drugs here, so it's getting anything that could be turned into opium, probably a big no-no. How long are you streaming for? Actually, as I've got a chat lined up with an old friend here in the not too distant future, that probably wrapping up pretty soon. What phone do you currently use? Because, like a fool, I went running in the rain. I had my old Galaxy S6 get munched, so I couldn't use it anymore. I have the Galaxy S7. The battery's starting to go on it, but I think I'm gonna go like full MacGyver on this, and I've looked up the videos online to remove the backing. And once I've removed the backing, I'm gonna, like, myself personally, because you're not, I mean, it's not designed like you would do this yourself. I'm gonna put a new battery in myself and just use this time eternal, because I don't like paying the upgrade costs that they charge you here in Japan, where in Canada, I mean, damn it, Canada's expensive, but when you upgrade a phone, they just give you the phone. Here in Japan, they add an extra fee onto your bill once you upgrade, so I would like to avoid that. Currently attending uni in Tokyo. Oh, that's cool. I'm thinking about teaching English, possibly in Japanese school. Do I need an education degree? No, just a degree. Any degree. That's right. By Samsung. That's who makes the Galaxy S7. Do you like baby metal? What are your thoughts on idol groups in general? I don't really know anything about idol groups. I mean, at a glance, I know that there's some really bizarre fan behavior in Japan surrounding whatchamacallit, surrounding idols. So I know that much, but that's all I know. That's all I know. So I don't know much about the rest of it. Watch Jerry Rig for battery replacement. Oh yeah, and I've watched all the replacement things. I mean, it's actually not hard. It's not hard to do. The battery costs about $40, and then the tools for it that you would need probably cost about $20, but you can replace your own battery in these things and save yourself a ton of money. And I mean, the phone's awesome. The only issue is that it needs a new battery. That's it. Yeah, I like that. Oh, that's even a cool shot. I haven't looked at that. I would crop it to there. I would crop it, bam, just down to the side for her and the lady. I thought this cat would get way more love on my Instagram. It did not get much love. That's a cool shot. That is, dare I say, a cool cat. These cats again. I just couldn't get enough of these cats. Really love these series of shots. In the this is a little like editing flourish I really enjoyed in the video that I did, the collaboration video with Yummy Japan. This guy sharpening his blade. All the sound effects that you hear, like water is dropping into the bucket while he's sharpening. I put in all those sound effects is like in post-processing. None of it is real. It's all studio magic. And it came out really cool. Like, it sounds really cool when you're watching that section of the video. But yeah, this, I especially like the way you can tell that's like, this guy's done this before. The way his hand's resting on the blade looks really, really cool. And I bet, man, when that thing is done, I bet that is one sharp-ass blade. Pretty cool. Yeah, I asked him, I was like, this is so cool. You mind if I take some pictures of this? He was like, no problem, man. No problem. Those may be, this shot right here, I think, may be my favorite shot of the whole number that I took from going to that street. That was so cool seeing that guy out there. Very, very cool. Alright, I will do one final plug here in the stream. It's at Cat Street, in case that's what your question was. If you happen to want to support me on Patreon, that would be awesome. It unlocks the potential of the channel. It has in so many ways. I mean, I just got this new 60mm lens, and Patreon does come with its rewards. You're going to get a copy of my book, Stoneheart. You're also going to get access to an ever-growing folder of pictures like these from around Japan that will let you have something for all your digital backgrounds. And as well, now that I'm learning how to use Lightroom, there's like some more professionally edited photos that I'm always adding to there as well. It's going well, Bacon Party, woo. Potentially the best name we've seen so far. Oh, thank you so much, Fujiwara. Wouldn't be a stream without seeing you drop by, and wouldn't be a stream without your very incredibly kind donation. So thank you very, very much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, just another like Chalcedon, Jordan, Eprit, and Fujiwara. Big thanks to you guys. Also over to Thomas. Also as well, including Frank in the stream today. Thank you so much, you guys, for your donations and ongoing support of the channel. Really, really appreciate it. Let's the magic happen. Meet up with a friend. Beer is on me. Oh yeah, Fujiwara. We'll have to get together, grab some beers. That'd be good times. Master Marwaleth, I appreciate how realistic your videos persist to be. It definitely helped me think more along the real world side of things, forming. I won't regret making them when the time arrives. Yeah, it's my pleasure, Master, and I really hope, like, there's a lot of hope in there. There's, like, I've always said this on my channel as well. Like, I try and espouse this virtue of suffering and challenge is essential to our growth and appreciating the better sides of our lives. And so, yeah, well, like, there's this quote-unquote realistic aspect I have with my videos. I hope that never clouds, that should be, it's a challenge, but it always deepens and makes more valuable the accomplishments that you do find, that you do achieve for overcoming these, like, realistic, call it pain in the ass things that life is so filled with. Yep, my pleasure with the stream. And I think on this note, guys, it's been an awesome stream. It's 3-hour stream, or I mean just shy by, like, say 8 minutes here. But I think I gotta call it here because I haven't actually. I gotta eat lunch before I speak to my friend this afternoon, and then I got my Japanese lesson after that. But I should hang up my guns. It's been great hanging out with everybody, and this is really cool. I definitely, in terms of stream attendance, I mean, it's died off a little bit in the last hour, but we had points there where it was, like, hovering around between 60, 70 at one point, even for a few minutes over 70, which never ever seen before in my stream. So that's really cool to see the attendance kind of gradually growing. Yes, otsukare-sama deshita. Osaki ni shitsurei shimasu. I will catch you guys later. And yeah, here's to the next stream and many more videos coming out on the channel. This was a good one, and I think I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up on the channel, so maybe people who haven't checked it out can check it out later. Peace.